hold of a Sarantangipus. That's right, it's half platypus, half snow leopard. Oh, I'm on that sumbitch. I grabbed it serious. We're running through Alaska. Oh, we're going up to Antarctica. We're going to the South Pole. Oh, I've been around the world. I'm quicker than the Flash. I'm silkier than fucking baby lotion on fucking P. Diddy's asshole. I'm coming to your house. What's for dinner, Grandma? Woo, we're back. Helltown Radio. I just made my neighbor's dog shit his britches. Introduce yourselves.
That's quite though. With my headphones on immediately. Hi, I'm Lita. I'm part of the show. I do art stuff. I talk about horror stuff. And yeah, that's about it.
All right, yeah.
And we have a guest all of a sudden.
Is there somebody at the door?
Yeah.
Oh. Yo, what's up, dog? Yeah. All right. There it is.
Alrighty then.
All right. So, yes.
The joys of having an apartment.
Oh man, I thought that was gonna be. I thought somebody ordered a surprise pizza.
I'm glad you guys had to take the brunt of that and not me.
Imagine my surprise when it wasn't a fucking pizza.
Yeah, right. Hey, that's not the sushi. Hey, he had some nice pepperoni nipples though. How's you doing? We should have invited him in to say hi.
Shows up naked to a door.
If he shows up again, we'll apologize and invite him in.
Like the sands through an hourglass.
All right, so back to the regularly scheduled program. My name is Chris. You may know me from your neighborhood bar, the Catamount Lounge at 124 East Main Street in front of Royal, Virginia. You may know me from some of my exciting comedic escapades throughout the Northern Virginia and DMV area. You may recognize me from the episode of Cheaters where your grandma got caught. Just kidding. I am out here, but I was telling George a funny story about being a bartender today. Just because, you always hear people complain about working in front of the house. I just have to say right now, with a straight face, the only people that are allowed to complain in the restaurant industry are back of the house members. That for people that are not in the restaurant industry, that involves any person that is in the kitchen. And it was some of the hazards of the job are at the front of the house is that you might have to deal with unruly customers, but that's easy to diffuse. I had some experience in daycare, and so I use that to translate to when I'm dealing with a unruly drunk. But so one of my things is that I work for tips, and
yeah, you do.
Yes, you do. And I take the tip, I'll take the whole thing. Pause. But so anyways, we had a group of women come in, and they were there for some sort of girl get together, and they were visibly from Washington, D.C. You can always tell they have that nose in the air thing. Just kidding. They were actually pretty cool. But one of the girls was like, she kind of like, I could tell she'd like seen me, and she was like, you know what? I've always had a thing for Drew Carey. And so she kind of like, was like looking over, and I was like, all right, target acquired. This is how I'm going to get my 40% tip. And so just joking around, I was kind of flirty with her, and then I went up and sang Rebel Yell and made sure, I was like, you girl, and did the whole thing. And so I come back to the bar, and I'm eating a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, and she sees me eating the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, and so there's a bag of them. Shannon buys a bag of candy every day to test my diabetes. And I get take her a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup and bring it over to her, and I'm like, here you go. And she's like, because I can tell she wanted one. Who doesn't want a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup? You make eye contact with somebody eating a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup and they don't offer it to you, they're a rude son of a bitch. Especially if they have the 4-pack, you know what I mean?
Right.
So about 3 minutes later, I'm talking with Shannon and Juliet at the bar, and this girl comes up. She's like, Chris, there's something I need to tell you. And I'm like, Sarah, what is it? I'm married. I looked her dead in the eye. I didn't skip a beat. I said, oh my God, so am I. Can you keep a secret? And so I told Kelly the story already. And just to be clear that I will not be getting, Lorena Bobbited when I get home. And so in my brain, so I look at her and she's just like shocked, and Julieta and Shannon are just dying laughing. And then I look at her again. I'm like, so just to be clear, like all the prior flirting, me making direct eye contact with you during a song, that was nothing. But as soon as I gave you a Reese's peanut butter cup, we crossed the threshold of appropriateness. You know, I thought that was kind of humorous out of everything. It was the Reese's peanut butter cup that was, made it intimate.
I mean, it's a powerful gesture,
I guess so. I didn't think about it like that.
Peanut butter's important.
I just thought she was a fellow chocolate peanut butter enthusiast. But that's just the way. That's the funny way the universe works sometimes. But you know what? Speaking of the universe working funny sometimes, we have a very special guest with us tonight. Jan has been a friend of mine for many moons. We have done tons of stuff together. We have hung out at several bars together. We have talked about everything under the sun, moon, stars, and the beyond. And today we have with us Mr. DJ. We're going to give him his proper name here. DJ Jan H. Salvato, a.k.a. the Big Bad Bratwurst
of the Shenandoah Valley.
Yes, sir. He's got that buttery, luxurious
Coming
voice.
to you live, baby. Hoorah.
Who gave you that nom de plume? Did you give it to him?
He did.
Okay. I was going to say, did this start years ago? Was it like...
It started after gym class in 9th grade.
Yeah,
Jan had gone through some changes that summer, and people had definitely
you
taken
got
notice.
hair around it now.
They're like, whoa. Like, is that a pretzel? Or are you happy to see me?
Lieutenant Dan, ice cream.
Yeah, man.
You got new hair.
All right, Jan, man. What is up, dude? How are you?
I am excellent, man. This is an honor and pleasure to be here for my first official podcast ever. I will also be launching a podcast very soon, within a few months. So this is a perfect opportunity for me to come see a real live podcast studio. And I have to say, I'm pretty impressed with everything I see and how professional and everything looks. And again, I'm grateful to be here. I am a DJ on the side. I do tile work for a living. I build custom bathrooms, beautiful marble showers, and heated floors and big kitchen backsplashes.
Some sweet mosaics.
He does some beautiful work. Where can we see that stuff?
So I post my pictures on my Facebook profile. It's Jan H. Salvato. And I usually, after I get done with a job, I'll post pictures, and then people can see the kind of work that I've been doing. But that's always good. That pays the bills. And then the DJ gig is just kind of something I naturally took up after singing karaoke, actually, for 25 years. Kind of one thing led to another, and it just made total sense for me to DJ and do what I love. I just love singing karaoke. I don't have my own voice. I like to emulate other voices, and it's just something, doing voice impressions and things that I thought was fun, and kind of an icebreaker for for deeper conversation eventually with a lot of folks. Getting ready to do a lot of inspirational, motivational speaking to the public through my podcast called The Human Inspiration Project, a.k.a. The HIP, coming to you live, Strasburg, Virginia, an unbiased platform for all human beings to come to receive a little bit of inspiration and empowerment, a fueling station for your soul.
Mm-hmm. If you want to if you want to get filled up by Jan, he got you.
But anyway, it's gonna be mainly focusing on empowerment, inspiration, and how to become the best version of yourself. How to master the human experience, mind, body, and spirit.
All right.
I felt like that was inspirational music.
It is
It
inspirational.
actually was. It was perfect timing. That was good.
That's why they play that shit in between plays at NFL games, dog. It gets motherfuckers hype.
There used to be a fighter in Pride, Vanderlei Silva, that would come out to that song, but they would have their shows in like 100,000 seat baseball stadiums. So he'd be coming out, and they called him the axe murderer, and he would like kick people in the head while smiling. So he'd come out, and he was like this giant Brazilian guy that was obviously on steroids, and that song would come on, and you'd see like a bunch of Japanese people go from like sitting like this to being like losing their shit. So
Godzilla is coming.
every time I hear that song, I don't think of it. I'm like, oh yeah, that was a song people listened to and danced around.
Yeah.
Not a song for a pre-ass whipping.
I mean, I think that if I had to have walkout music, I would do something. I would do like Celine Dion, "My Heart Will Go On" or something. Like,
Dude, my daughter fucking yeah. Shouts out my daughter. She's the shit. She won the state wrestling championship this year. Fucking badass. But yeah,
did she get a belt?
Congratulations.
She got a medal, this big plaque, and she has a flag and a banner in their high school now for. Like she got to hang the flag that they're gonna hang from the rafters on the flagpole this morning. So she's
neat.
But yeah, she got a gigantic medal. Then I'm about to cry. I was psyched, dude. This shit is fucking awesome. She busted her ass. She kept going up in her placement every year. She was one of the first girls to ever compete in the girls' state championship. She's competed all 4 years of high school, and each year she got higher. And this girl was an asshole. I'll go out and say it. This girl punched her in the face like 3 times, and she still lost. So it was good.
She Karate Kid that motherfucker?
She actually just jujitsu'd everybody. She won every match by pin. That's a big deal in like wrestling tournaments. It means nobody could stop you. Didn't win on points. It wasn't a stalemate. She pinned everybody.
You got it.
But she just straight up jujitsu hip tossed everybody. And some wrestlers have a hard time with that because they don't realize that it doesn't matter if their feet are still on the ground. They're going to fall on their ass. And then she won. And then she realized she had won, and she started crying. And I'm standing on the edge of the mat, and then I started crying. And I was like, holy shit. But she was like an underdog. This girl had been undefeated for like the last 2 years and won like a bunch of national championships. The same championship my daughter got All-American in, where she placed 6th. This girl won the whole thing. So, and that girl did not stand on the podium. They took one picture, and there's another picture of that girl stepping off of the fucking podium and then walking, and all the other girls that like are in lower places than her are staring at her like, bitch, what the fuck's wrong with you? You got
it's important to be humble.
Yeah.
But you know.
Yeah. Like,
so it's safe to say that she can defend herself.
Oh yeah, if you like, I estimate by her sophomore year of college, she might be able to take me down. Like it's close now. Like there's times,
motherfucker, you know she can already take you down.
No, she can't. Like
she can whoop your ass.
Nah,
you know it.
Nah. Like there was a point. The closest it's ever been to being like, oh fuck, was usually I can down block and you just push the person's head down and you turn. And if you turn your hip, they can't like grab your legs. And that's what I used to do because I wasn't comfortable sprawling on her. And sprawling, you like push your hips forward and you basically jump and push their head and their arms into the ground so they can't grab your legs. And she shot her takedown on me so fast and had a hold of my legs that I actually had to sprawl. And we both were shocked by it because she looked up at me like, you sprawled. And I was like, I know, dude. You fucking, you were going to pick me up. Fuck that. So, but yeah, like probably by sophomore year, like I didn't know a bunch of the stuff about being a college athlete because nobody in my family other than like one of my cousins. But she's not gonna have to worry about medicine or any stuff. Like she'll be able to call the athletic director and get all that stuff taken care of. So they take care of like all of her medical stuff. So for those years, she doesn't have to worry about that shit. And yeah, so and she got invited to another national tournament. So if she does good in that one, then I'll be like, yeah, she can be on that team.
That's what's up. Is there?
Then I'll have a fucking.
What does she really want to do?
She's
going to college for? Because
she's going to be an engineer.
Yeah.
So like she's going there for that. She wants she wants to. Oh yeah, nah. That's the one thing that is the saving grace. She never turned into like this jockey kid that didn't do her shit. She was always on honor roll all the way through school, and then the last year she got put into a magnet school for engineering. And so
what kind of engineering is it going to be? Building or
civil engineering? So
that's cool.
Yeah. So she's yeah. But when I was her age, I was like, I want to skateboard and play punk rock in weird places in DC, and like she's like, I'm gonna design a house and we're gonna build it. And I'm like, okay, cool. But yeah, I had an eventful week, and I went to the Guar Bar for the first time.
Ooh, how was that?
It's smaller than you think. Like it's not that big of a place, but everywhere you look, there's stuff that's been on stage. So there's like fucking a bunch of their heads. Like once you walk in the door and turn, like a bunch of their old stage heads are on the wall. They're like all throughout all the rafters. There's like guts from some of the like monsters.
They're fun to look at, but I
haven't heard that name in a long time.
The first 2 or 3 albums are good, and then they changed into more metal, and I didn't like it as much. But the first 3 albums, they would have stories about what they were doing. But like Jello Biafra was on one of them. Is like this guy, like he was like an evil, like, and they would do music videos where it's like the same stuff they do on stage, they'd be doing it but Jello Biafra's in it, and I think they rip his eyes out of his shit.
Yeah.
It reminded me, like, at that point, they just reminded me of Trauma with music.
Yeah.
So-
See, I was listening to Tool and Failure while all my friends were listening to shit like Gwar. So
I listened to
couldn't
Gwar
get to it.
before that, like in like '89, I think.
Gwar and-
because they were in Richmond.
How about Gore Guts?
There's all kinds of like, dude. The funniest metal,
Morbid Angel.
Morbid Angel's okay.
I remember that sounds familiar.
Like the bands that I always thought were wild, just because like, if you looked at them from like being other musicians, you'd be like, these guys are just wearing corpse makeup. All the like Norwegian death
Cannibal
metal.
Corpse.
Well,
Yes!
not even Cannibal Corpse.
yeah.
Cannibal Corpse is like those dudes. Like those dudes look like, yo, they might beat your ass.
Yeah.
When I see the dudes from like
take them seriously.
Burzum and like Celtic Frost and all those guys, where it's all black and white, and they're like, "Ugh," I'm like, yo, I know who those kids are. Like,
What?
You know that scene in Ace Ventura?
There-
That's Cannibal Corpse, the metal band.
Corpse
and,
Grinder.
Yeah, and they and so that was Corpse Grinder. I thought it was Cannibal Corpse.
Well, no, the singer.
Oh, okay, oh yeah,
That's his like stage
oh,
name.
yeah. So
The dude with the giant neck from Headbang.
well, so the reason why is because Jim Carrey was a fan before the movie, and then when they were like, yeah, we had to see with the metal band, he's like, I'm bringing this band I fuck with on. He brought him on. He actually performed with them. But at that point in time, the lead guitarist was a kid that I hung out with's cousin. It was really wild. Yeah, really wild.
If you like them, you might like Municipal Waste. They're from Richmond.
Yeah.
It's the same type of shit.
I have so many like offshoot stories from all this. I'm like, oh man, let me talk. Like, so my buddy Eric, aka DJ Billy Crystal Fingers, down in Richmond, Virginia. Shout out my homie. He's one of my nearest, dearest friends for life. He's a big beer guy, and he hosts a beer group at his house. So this is about 8-10 years ago. And we were at his house, and like met this guy, and he's a cool dude, just like got a big beard, nice dude, you know. I was like, cool. And he's like, I'm like, what's up, dog? You know, what's your name? And he's like, oh, it's Dave. I'm like, oh, Dave, cool, man. I was like, oh, you know Eric and Lars and these two guys, and like they hung out with a bunch of headbangers, so I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, So we get to the whole like, what do you do thing? What do you do part of the conversation? It's like, oh, I play guitar in a band. I was like, oh, that's cool, man. That's cool, man. Like, so I don't really want to pry past that. So he leaves, and I'm like, yo, oh yeah, your boy Dave was cool, man. I was like, what band is he? He's like, oh, that's Dave Whitty from Municipal Waste. And I was like, oh, no shit, dude. That's fucking wild. But that's like hanging out in that's what I like about Richmond, too, is that there's like an accessibility to the people that are the people in town.
Baltimore's like that, too. What's it called? God damn it. Fuck, why can't I remember their name?
God damn it, Bobby.
The band that plays Mystery. Fuck, Turnstile.
Yeah.
So Turnstile, I remember my friend, who we call it, Juicy Tetrazzini. Like that's what I got to call him on the radio. I'm not gonna say his real name, but he lived in Baltimore for years. He was a graffiti artist. He's friends with Brendan. And he knew those dudes. He would be like, I'm going to a Turnstile show. And they'd be playing at like little like VFW halls and shit like that. They were just like another hardcore band. And then they put out that one album during COVID and it blew the fuck up. They like got Grammy nominated, all this other shit. And they're just like, in their videos, they're just skateboarding in front of their fucking house in Baltimore. So it's nuts. Like, hardcore bands can get big or like in those two areas. DC is like not really big for hardcore music anymore.
It's not big for any music except for go-go, and even that's dwindling out.
Yeah, it's weird because when I was in high school, that's where we'd play like DC9, Velvet Lounge, like all the clubs around 9:30 because you wanted to get into 9:30 and open up for one of the national acts. So it was like a lot of like doing that stuff, getting to play shows, opening up for like smaller but like bands like.
That's because DC's just become a it's a transition point for people that are coming to make money off of war and information, and those people have shit taste and everything.
Well, these kids need to get punk rock again and start fucking throwing shows.
Punk rock or like underground like rave type.
Because
Because right now it's like mostly like house music. I'm not a fan. Like I get it. Like there's a lot of people that love that kind of shit, but not me. Like I'm more like the drum and bass. Breaks, like Florida breaks. Oh shit, you know, like something that gets your body fucking moving.
I like the techno lounge.
Yeah.
So it's like like you said, bass and drum.
Yeah.
And it's the beat, and it gets you really moving and grooving, but not being like overly crazy to the point where it's too much.
Yeah, like there used to be a ton of like Club 5 was really big for drum and bass shit, and then that went away.
Coffee House.
Yeah. Or like if you like industrial music,
Yeah.
there was Alchemy at
Alchemy,
Nation,
yep.
and then Nation had Buzz on Friday, and then it had Velvet, the gay night, on Saturday, and those were like
Missed that
really,
one.
really, really, really good parties. And it went away when Nation went away. So there's still stuff out there, but it's very few far in between, and there's no weeklies unless you want to go to Fairfax.
Transit, yeah.
Yes,
Ju-
I'm actually going tomorrow.
Are you really?
Yes, I'm going to the drum and bass show.
All right. Who you going?
Very nice.
I need a dance, so
You know what? I might be if I end up doing Hog Shack tomorrow night, then I will make it a point to swing through Transit on the way
yes, be
home.
like, yo, just hit me up.
All
I'll be
right.
like, yeah, come through. We're here. We're dancing.
I
We're
bet.
doing our shit.
I bet you heard it here first. If I don't get home till late tomorrow night, Kelly, it's all Lita's fault.
Yeah,
Um,
this is drum and bass, right?
No.
No, that is not.
This
That's
is-
Wait,
this-
what are you
this
talking
is-
about?
dubstep,
This is
dude.
dubstep.
God damn it! I
This
wanted you
is
to get to the robot fucking like sounding part.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
This is Alvin and the Chipmunks
Did you
dubstep.
Did you
Yeah.
see the post I put up the other day of drum and bass? And it was it's like a square, whatever they call those, like the squares, and it's a drum and then a bass, and
Yes.
then like.
I
And
saw that. I like you and like 3 other of my junglist friends posted that. I'm like, yes.
I love
funny.
that. I love
I love that it's called junglist because it makes me
Junglist,
think
yeah.
you're like
There's
where-
different
It
types
makes
of
it. A
genres.
junglist talks like this.
Yes.
A junglist talks like
Yes.
this, mate. It's mental, all right.
I
It's
thought
mental.
when I think of junglist, and this
So
is
it's
just me, and
mental.
it's just me being high and stupid. I think about a dude in one of those little hats being like, "By Jove, well, we come around the corner, Livingston."
Yeah, they. You know what? That's awesome. I will actually. That's not a bad idea. But yeah, the drum and bass scene in DC was so cool during the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
And so it's like, while we call it like the rave scene, we call it, the junglist scene or whatever, or whatever. And now, or the massives and all that stuff. But now it's just like, it's the EDM, it's the the whole EDM thing, and it blankets so much.
Yeah.
And I understand why they do it, because it's from a
Ecstasy.
marketing stand. Well, it's a marketing
Drugs.
standpoint. Yeah. Well, I don't know what they really. I feel
They
that-
better.
I
They
feel-
better.
I feel per
letting
capita-
their generation down.
No, I feel per capita that there was more drugs when we were
Oh,
going to
yeah.
raves.
fucking.
I didn't even listen to drum and bass, but I would go to the clubs to at least get ecstasy back in the day.
Well, I
Like,
think that now the drugs are better, and these so they
they're like, I've got Percocets.
Percocets. Man.
Yeah.
They got DMT, dog. They got fucking
Yeah. They don't, like-
They got the special.
A little bit of dimethyltryptamine.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got all the cool stuff, man.
I would
See,
not
back
want
in
to
the
do
day,
DMT.
it was always either acid
Yeah.
or Molly, and
Yeah.
or both,
Yeah.
and you're candy flipping for the night.
Yeah,
but
then you sweating through
Did
your
you
pants.
did you guys ever hear of the rave Bionic Buddha? It was at the Edge. It was like pretty famous. It was like AWOL 1 was there. Bad Boy Bill was there. What's the other guy that died? Rob 1. He was there. It was this big thing. It was like, when I bring it up to some of the older drum and bass dudes, like Derek from the Whole Ox. He was a famous. We talked about when he was on the show. He was a pretty famous drum and bass DJ. But we went to that, and I remember that was like I was 17. I had to use my boy John Allstat's fake ID to get in, and we went. And I remember I told my parents that I'd spent the night. All right, big. So here's a confession, Mom and Dad. So I told my parents that we spent the night at my friend Mike's house, and so like all of us, it was me, my girlfriend, and like my friend and his girlfriend, and like somebody else. And we went, and we got there. We thought we bought an E. And some guy sold us like just some fucking Flintstones vitamins or something. She saw a bunch of kids. So then the next guy we run into is like, "Hey, I got some these sugar cubes," and we're like, "Well, fuck it. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. We want to party. Like we came to a rave. We want to do this, right?" So this is our first time, like my first time really being out at a club like that, and so we took a bunch of ass, a bunch of great, it was fun. But then I remember the next morning when we were driving in, my friend goes to drop me off, and I see a dude in a Santa Claus outfit jogging. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, that would make sense if it was Christmas time, right? It was Easter morning. So, like, we're like, I'm like, oh my God, that's so crazy. And then I get home, and my dad's like, he's like, oh, how was your night? And I was like, oh, it was fantastic. I think I'm just going to go to my room and hang out. He's like, well, no. Actually,
we're gonna hang out.
We have two options here, and I'm like, what's that? It was just so weird. He must have known. I don't know. And he was like, well, we could either go to church or we could sit here and have a theological discussion. So I sat there with my dad at the morning after being at a
Jesus
rave
Christ.
and had a theological discussion at age 17 I'm in like I'm in purple and blue cargo shorts with like a Fat Farm shirt and like a upside down visor and shit. Like, yeah, and like God is like bigger than just the planet Earth.
Oh my God, dude! Like I remember one time I was tripping on acid. I was like mid trip through a 10 strip of acid. And fucking, I think I had gone back to either get more acid or ecstasy out of this refrigerator my parents had in the basement. And when I was in there, I saw like a tablecloth, and I was like, yo, that'd be a badass poncho. So I fucking took a pair of scissors and cut it in there. And then I went upstairs to get water because, of course, I was thirsty, and I was wearing it. And I walked right past both my parents, walked back downstairs, got my ecstasy, and my brother, the one that's a police officer, comes in. He's like, I think he was working out or doing some dumb shit. And he's like, is that acid? Is that ecstasy? And I was like, yeah. And I turned around and did more drugs while wearing a poncho.
See, I was lucky that I grew up in a military family, and they were kind of like not there, so I got to do whatever the fuck I would, as long as I got good grades. I didn't care. So.
I don't condone this behavior for any of the children listening to the show. But
yeah, don't listen to us. We're
children. They have the adults, whatever.
So what's your wildest story? You have to have one.
You are German, right? So you have been to like have you been to anything like Rammstein?
Oh yeah. I've actually traveled through Europe.
But we're talking about like clubs, like have you like German?
Yeah, so Heidelberg, Germany is where I lived, and every weekend we'd go down to a place called the Hauptstraße, which is Main Street, downtown Heidelberg, and they would have techno discos. The coolest place I went to was called the Schwimmbad Club.
Schwimmbad Club.
Which,
yeah, my friend.
Which is a swimming hall club. So it's a club that's in an indoor swimming pool.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
And they had several stories, and then in the basement they had this techno club called the Blue Note. And you go down there, and there's the smoke machines going off, and you can see guys wearing construction worker outfits, and
yeah, they paid,
and
not a stereotype.
And they there for dick
and deer horns. It's like I made a funny meme. It was like, "Hey Sven, grab your deer horns. We're going to the disco."
That's awesome.
So that's where we used to on the weekends, and then Germany was really interesting, especially growing up in the 80s and 90s over there, when the Deutschmark was still in effect, and it was like 4 Deutschmarks to $1 exchange.
Deutschmark was that was the currency of choice by all the bad guys in 90s movies.
I still have a bunch of them.
They loved Deutschmarks because they were untraceable.
So.
For some reason.
And so, our dollar, our U.S. dollar, went a really long way in Germany. So we were just, at $20, we would get 80 Deutschmarks, and we could just party the whole weekend, or more with
awesome.
$20.
So, do you speak German?
I do fluently, yes.
Do you speak?
I can understand it a little bit, but I cannot
All right,
speak it back. Like my
speak
mom speaks it.
Hallo Lita, wie geht es dir?
I am doing really well, actually.
Gut, es geht mir auch gut.
Awesome. I'm glad you're doing well. See, I can understand it. I cannot speak it, but my mom,
I know.
She would especially if she's because my mom's a typical German woman, where if she sees something that she's
your mother is German.
Yeah, yes, she's from Hessen. I was born
Hessen.
in Frankfurt.
Frankfurt am Main.
Yeah.
Ooh, a Frankfurter.
Yep, I'm a Frankfurter. So I was actually born on post, in military post. But my mom, whenever she's she is not making fun, but check these people out, or she will definitely do that, and I'm like, Mom, stop.
No, they have little side conversations
Yeah.
where everybody's standing there, and you can tell she's cutting up.
Or she used to do this whenever I brought somebody home and she didn't like him, and she would say, "Esten, Idiot, Esten Idiot," or something like that.
Ist ein Vollidiot.
Yes, exactly. Which is he's a fucking idiot.
If you were directly translated, it's he is a full idiot.
Yeah, exactly. So and she would just say that and walk away, and I'd be like, she likes you.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah. So I understand it very well, but I can't speak it back. So
That's pretty impressive.
yeah.
How you say that? What's the dead pants again? The
Tote Hose.
Total Hose, yeah, man.
Let's get out of here. It's Total Hose in here. It's Dead Pants.
That's my favorite.
Let's get out of here, guys.
Hosa.
It's totally Dead Pants.
So do you guys know what today is?
Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
Mardi
The
Gras.
Grizzy to Mizzy.
Nolans. It's not New Orleans.
Yeah,
It's
Nolans.
I wanted to go there this year, but I didn't have the money to it.
it's Nolans.
You can literally go there any fucking day, and it's like Mardi Gras there. I'm telling you, go.
I think Mardi Gras is 365 days a
yes,
year.
you go there like
I ain't going down there alone to get my pockets ruined.
me and my
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
I have a good Florida friend that I like visit every now and then, and we decided to go to New Orleans because he was like spinning there, and like we were on that main strip, and people were still like throwing beads and stuff. Like it was just a drunken debauchery. Like it felt like it without the huge crowds. What do you have?
Ghetto beignets.
Ghetto beignet.
Grab yourself a cookie.
Ben-
God.
We call them Ben Yeezys.
You
in the
can't
hood.
have those. Those are my cookies.
Yes, Ben Yeezys for Sheezy, my biggie.
They are ghetto beignets because you know
Hold up.
there's this one place like
Beignets.
right there.
Did you make
I'm
these?
good, sir.
Nah.
Damn it.
They're very
Oh my
dusty.
They're so good though. They're not like you know,
They're not crispy enough.
Yeah, they have to be crispy and then super soft in the middle.
If I get pulled over on the way home, be like, officer, I was not doing cocaine. I swear to God, I was eating beignets.
Excuse me, sir. What's that white residue on your lower lip?
Cocaine. Beignet.
Beignet.
I'm gonna go grab some paper towels.
There's plates in there.
Oh my God, this is so good. Not as good as the.
Yeah, I couldn't find Cafe Du Monde kit, so.
So I have to tell you guys something. I want you guys to think of one question each about something that pertains to life itself or the universe or our purpose on this planet, those kinds of things, more
Thank you.
esoteric knowledge and wisdom, things that you've been thinking about through your life that you're looking for answers to. Each of you think of a question that you would like to ask, and I would like to give you my insight, if you will, and you can just take your time, in the meantime, we'll just talk and whatever. But so this is going to be directly connected to what my podcast is going to be talking about, and I just wanted to kind of run a little test run.
Okay.
Man, that's we made a jump there. We got we went from
Well, that's what podcasts are good
Yeah,
for.
we went from beignets and buttholes to.
beignets and buttholes to the outer legions of outer space. Let's see. What's a good one? A question. Who do you know the Muffin Man? No, I think, or who let the dogs out? Lita, you're smarter. Come on, man.
But so I walked out to get a paper towel, so I don't know like.
Oh,
what's
you
the
don't know what's going
context?
on?
Like, I need some context again.
Context.
So
Yeah.
just think of a question that has been lingering in your spirit, in your mind, for maybe your whole lives, maybe not. Something that you've been searching for an answer for that would kind of help change your perception of reality.
What is the point of all of this?
What is the point of the human experience?
Yeah, because like my theory is, when we procreate, we're fucking and we're making more. That's it. So like in my mind, because I'm a nihilist, I'm like, there is no point. There's no. That's it. We're just organisms made to create more organisms.
Well,
That's it. So what is the point?
it's a great question. I've asked that question many times myself, and I have come to my own conclusion that life, as we know it, is just a form of expression. It is non-denominational. It is universal. And it's an expression. As above, so below. As you have light, you shall have dark. Black, white, left, right, up, down, the whole thing. And it's just an expression. If we think about how many people are on this planet, let's say 10 billion now, we have potentially 10 billion different perceived realities. So reality, in a sense, is subjective. And it's subjective because reality is based upon our words, thoughts, and actions, which is an expression, which then leads us into experiencing and expressing that in our reality, which is 3 dimensions. But I also think that it's also a test. I believe it is a testament of our will, of our faith, kind of like a mystery school, if you will. Mm-hmm. And the more enlightened we become, the more we become closer to our truest potentials as human beings, and our perceptions change along the way, it leads us ultimately to the light at the end of our proverbial tunnels, which is our truest potential as human beings, which means full expressing ourselves to our fullest potentials.
Yeah.
And if we dwell and focus on negative things that will keep us from reaching the light at the end of this tunnel, which is our truest selves, then we're not making progress as fast as we would like. So that means we are forced to deal with the things that we've experienced in our lives that are not serving us in our best interest. And the way we can do that and quickly catalog that experience in our Rolodex of memories is by accepting, acknowledging, and forgiving those experiences we've had that are not really what we want to experience.
Yeah.
In other words, we all have stories to tell. We all have traumas. It's really all about breaking the generational curses that our ancestors have bestowed upon us. Kenworthy, you're just burning to say something. Let's go, baby.
No, dude, I'm just listening. Actually, I'm super baked, dude. No, this is a great one. Actually, we have a question from the audience. The question is, are black holes actually the pupils of another living being / organism? That's coming from Big Nerds LOLs, Mr. Barbine, another alumni of the show, actually.
It's actually a kind of an interesting question because black holes exist everywhere. So they're in space. They've got to be on this Earth. So if, they have this saying that goes back, and I know you've heard the saying that the eyes are a window to the soul.
Right.
So if you gaze someone in the eyes, their story, you can learn a lot about that person, about the things they've experienced, maybe not in detail, but you can feel their pain or you can feel their successes. Because, the other saying is, your face shows your emotions.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that.
And and that's what initially kind of invites us, without them formally inviting us, into dialogue with them to offer up inspiration and empowerment to help them try to transcend that experiences or those experiences so they can find closure for those things, so they can press their own reset button to life and they can start living life the way they want with, happiness and fulfillment. Right. So I believe it's all of our duties to look out for each other with no judgments. So if you know that that's inherently true, then you know that all politics and all the divisiveness that's going on this planet is completely senseless, and we have to break through that veil, and we have to come together as human beings, and we have to embrace and support one another. And then if we do that, then we can fix all the issues like mental health issues that are very rampant right now in this world.
Yeah, I agree with that. As an anarchist, I'm always been like, we can govern ourselves. We don't need people to tell us what to do or give us laws or
right. I mean, my body, my choice, for example.
But it's very utopic, unfortunately, because unfortunately,
I know it's not the way it goes. Right? It's stupid. Like politicians, kind of ruin it for us. But as an anarchist, I'm always been like, we should legalize all drugs. We should do this. We should be able to govern ourselves. We don't need people who clearly only care about one fucking thing.
And that's money and power.
Yeah, exactly.
Not beignets.
They don't want human beings to be enlightened. If we are all enlightened, we wouldn't buy into their paradigm of control and power. So we have to break through and transcend this paradigm of control and power, which means we must deal with our negative emotions, mind, body, and spirit, so we can press the proverbial reset buttons and we can start fresh on a slate of positivity, which will then lead us to the light at the end of our tunnels.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yo,
I
halfway through that, I almost broke into our God is an awesome God. You should have just been like, and a believer.
No, I think we should have broken.
No, it's spiritualism.
Yeah, it's not even religious. And
Yeah.
I put religion aside a long time ago.
Same.
It's the foundation of the excellent ones.
Yeah.
Wild Stallions, Bill S. Preston Esquire, and Ted Theodore Logan,
And Napoleon.
and Napoleon. Well, he was part of the offshoot, one of their, one of the lesser known groups. But yeah, that was what the best part of that movie was. It was just like very simple, just be excellent to each other. Like that was it. And for some reason, we just couldn't pick up on that.
No.
It's like it's more important.
This is history repeating itself over and over and
Right.
until like one day someone's gonna be like, wait a fucking minute.
I mean,
like, why are we doing this again?
I try to be sympathetic. I was thinking about it the other day. Between COVID and like political divisiveness, all based on like, pretty much social media, people haven't had a rest because we're surrounded by that shit. It's like this floating cloud of like information and opinions. And like, I've like one of my friends, you can get into those comment sections and you can read that shit, and a lot of that shit, I wholeheartedly believe that's a lot of like half the arguments in there aren't real arguments. They're people trying to create arguments, whether it's trolls or bots or whatever it is, and a lot of divisive things come from that. And I think that like we're pitting ourselves against each other on this thing that's basically like fake for all intents and purposes. A lot of like the internet, like when we were younger, we were a lot more internet savvy in terms of like it was the same thing as like people used to say, what'd you see that on TV? And then when we were kids, it was like, oh, would you hear that on the internet? And now the internet is looked at as fact. As soon as it's published, that shit is like fact. And a lot of people,
doesn't even have to be published. It could just be a meme.
Yeah.
I watch the craziest shit. First of all, like I'm working on a joke to talk about how the illuminated rectangles are winning right now, as we all are looking into illuminated rectangles and are broadcasted through one. And I get the irony and the hypocrisy, but with that being said, I was watching this young lady at the Catamount, and she was just talking to her friends, looked at her phone, and in a split second went to near tears and just ducked her head down and then turned her back to her friends.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, what the fuck is wrong? She's like, oh my God, I just saw a meme, and I'm not going to say what side it was politically, but it was just like she saw a meme saying that something may have happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it ruined her entire night with her two friends. And I was like, that is fucking crazy. And I was like, that's weird. And she was like, no, it's not. And I'm like, yeah, that's weird. I was like, that means you were like obsessed. That means
it could mean that, but it also there's a lot of associated trauma for different people's level of what they can see and stomach. So when we were kids, it was voluntary to go see like Faces of Death, these things. Now, when you're like on videos on Instagram, like for instance, I used to work at a plumbing place, and one of the younger guys, he was probably in his early 20s, went up to the older guy that worked there, and he was from Ghana, and it was a video of a girl twerking, and then halfway through the video, all of a sudden it cuts to that fucking the journalist getting his head cut off. And that's the shit that like we don't take into account with these kids, where like their trauma levels at with that shit from shit they shouldn't have seen, in terms of like not. They're too young, that human beings shouldn't see a lot of stuff that we're exposed to on a generally daily basis that like I do think has an effect on our psyche that we don't like, you can't quantify yet because there's not a long enough track record of instant information. That's been the last 5-6 years. And I think that has a large effect. A lot of us were home during COVID, whether even if you weren't an essential person, you spent a lot of time in home, and a lot of that time, because we're humans, we want connection, was internet. That's all people had.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that could have been exploited by people, like whether it's sensationalist journalism, where they're like showing us stuff like as soon as they get it without like verifying it. of course, if they're reporting news and everybody's at home, you're going to see a lot more of it no matter what you do, because your life, if you're working from home, all of a sudden after having conversations at your office with people, and that's how you find out about stuff, to being like the dissemination point is always going to be your phone or your computer for an extended period of time. I think that had a really big effect on people, especially kids.
I mean, I know I'm effective. I work from home, and I've been working from home since COVID. Like, my company decided, hey, we're going to save money.
Yeah.
Why are we going to pay for insurance for a building? Why are we going to pay for rent for a building when you guys are productive at home? So I've been working from home since COVID, and it is very isolating. And, you know, that window right there is the internet and talking to people. So I don't think there's any, like, there's no... I think everyone knows my political stance, but
did you just do the sign of the cross before he's like, I think everybody knows my political stance.
Everyone pretty much knows my political stance, but on the other side of things, they also don't know that I also hated the other fucking side of things. Like, it's, right. I hate both sides. Like, why are we letting these two, oligarchs, like, kind of ruin our lives? Like, why are we doing that when
what's up, man?
We don't need to do that. We can, we should be able to, like, choose what sort of medicines that we put in our body. We should be able to choose what we do with our body. We should be able to choose what we do with our money. We should, that's just my humble opinion on.
Yeah. You will own Lita, nothing and you will be happy.
Diamond 28 for president.
And eat cockroaches and crickets.
No. Well, if you want to. Some people like that shit. I'll tell you what though. I love that. That's the idealism I think that we should
just leave people alone as long as they ain't stabbing people. Yeah.
When we hit the hard reset button and we have to like restart civilization, let's hope that will be the idealism, not the.
No, I don't. But
if I have more of these things on paper than the other guy, then I'm more important than them, and we're gonna play a game of. Just think about, like, I always have this weird thought, like, off of weed, is that if you think about it. Our entire society, our entire world, global economy, everything, the wars, the way that we interact, the businesses that we're in, everything is based off of a small group of cavemen that were playing a game of pretend. And one of them was like, I am the king of all of you because this thing told me that I'm better than all of you. And then the people that I make are going to be even more important than you are. And then you guys give us your stuff, and then we get to have all this stuff. And you listen to what we say, and, and you think about, like, it just started from a game of pretend amongst cavemen. Like, that is some weird ass shit to think about, man. Like, and here we are in a carried away game of caveman of fucking pretend. And I just, like, that's a weird thought on weed I had.
Fucking wild. But, I honestly, the nihilist in me is sort of gleeful because, every great empire ends.
Oh yeah,
it does.
I guess I look at it like
we're at a frequency point.
I look at it like
that. Like,
I look at it like this, man. It's gonna be way worse than it is now, and it won't be really good for like a long time. The way I think about it is, I always think like a lot of the post-apocalyptic shit, where it's just like a bunch of bad people. And shades of that, I think that's the way it'll be for a lot of time. Like, you'll see a bunch of people with the shakes from eating brains. Like, there's gonna, like, because there's a lot of prion disease going on before there gets to be, like, a proper civilization. But that's just me not having faith in humanity. Like,
it's also you watching a lot of, like,
the dog.
Because I don't think it would happen like that. I think, like, yes, there's gonna be like a lot. There's gonna be a culling.
I just look at it like this. I think we're like cancer on the earth. We're like mold. Yeah. We're like mold. Like, and we reproduce, and like, if you look at I used to have a picture in the old studio of, it was the earth laid out flat, but it was all of this. You could see where we were in large masses because they looked red, and it was just the light pollution. But all those areas were red, and it looked like disease. And there's areas where we weren't, that were green and lush and nice. And I was like, man, we're like mold on a fucking orange that we left out on the counter too long. Like, but like, I think there's so many redeeming factors of humanity, because at our heart, when we're left alone without these people telling us divisive shit, we typically live really good in smaller groups where we're not even like-minded, just like we have the same goal, survival or like sustenance. There's an innate quality of us. Maybe it's because of our primate DNA, but it's us working together, coexisting, and typically we're really good about it. We will resolve conflicts. Sometimes it'll involve violence. Sometimes it'll involve like just communications, more often than not. Because I definitely think that like we, when left to our own devices, are better than when we're faced with problems that are made up by people wanting to get assets or money or anything like that. If we're just like living in a commune where we just have to like grow stuff, I think humanity works really well.
Yeah, we also help one another a little bit better, you know, when there's not somebody saying, oh, that guy's trying to take your money, so you should give it to me.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Like, hey, no, right. If
You
you
know?
give me your money, it's gonna be safe from that guy.
Yeah.
I promise. Come on.
I honestly do believe that. So.
Do you know what? I think that's why we live where we choose to live where we live, because we could, if we wanted to, go live in places where that's the values that people have. But I think in this area, and that's why I love living in this area, you know, Warren County, Front Royal specific, is that people give a shit about each other and the familiarity is there. People do have their opinions, but you know what? Because of the familiarity, there's a level of manners that are maintained, and you can sit in a room with somebody that you may not agree with, but because you guys have more of a common thread than just your political views and the clothes that you wear and you know the cars that you drive and shit, which is no offense to anybody involved, but that just happens to be a lot of areas values, and that's where you move to, and that's why you move there. And I get it, schools, blah 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 blah. But I know that, like, you know, we have this great opportunity out here. Like, so I had a great thing that happened to me this week. You know what I'm about to talk about. This is like the best thing that could ever happen this week. And it did. And so basically last Wednesday I went out and did some jokes over at El Rey in Arlington, Virginia. Shout out to my homies Adrian and John over there at the Callback Comedy, and my new friends I made, Joe Pacino and Pat, my old friend Pat Raitt, that were all there, but had a name drop for a minute. But we were on the way back, and when we came in, this guy's like, hey, Chris, and I look up, and it's this guy, Mac, I know, and he's like, can I talk to you? And so just a side story is that when we got Roxy, I had a public interaction with the Humane Society, and we've been like, hey, we want to help out because it was a seizure situation. They had seized, not the dog was having a seizure, but they were seized a bunch of dogs from a hoarding situation, and I'd had a public interaction with them. And then this guy who I just coincidentally am friends with on Facebook hits me up and is like, hey, did you adopt a little white dog? And I was like, yeah, how'd you know? And he's like, well, I was paying attention to your, you know, your back and forth on Facebook. And and that's how we got the information on who Roxy was and why her name is Roxy and how old she is and all that stuff. And because they told us, they were like, they didn't know shit. They were like, yeah, she's 15 years old because she was in pretty bad shape. Mm-hmm. You know, they had just removed her eyes. She was emaciated. She was mangy. You know, it was the whole thing. She had no fur. You know, now she has thrived, and she's my little chunky snuggled pup. And so this guy looking, so Matt, to get to the meat of the story, Mac looks at me. He's like, "Hey, Chris, what's up?" And I was like, "Oh shit, what's up?" Dude, he works at the Apple House, Exxon. We was like 12:30 at night on Thursday morning, Wednesday night, however you want to cut it. And he says, "Hey, you know, I got to move out of or I have to move into a new apartment, or I have a new lease agreement or something." I forget what it was. And whatever it was, he was no longer allowed to have his dogs. So he was like, he asked me, "Would you want to take, or do you know anybody that would want Roxy's sister?" I was like, yeah, motherfucker, me.
You're like, what?
Roxy's
sister.
Say no more, fam. Yeah, her biological sister.
Wow.
And yeah, and so I thought,
fate.
Well, it was fate. Yeah, right. It was actually around the same time all the planets aligned. Just to be real, that's like that actually happened. So we can say all the planets aligned, and we found Roxy and we reunited Roxy and Dixie, and her name's Dixie, and full name Dixie Girl Kenworthy, and she so basically this was on Wednesday, and I thought he said something about 2 weeks. On Saturday night he hit me up, he's like, so how about that dog pickup? And I'm like, today? He's like, yeah, if you can. And I was like, well, it's gotta have to be tomorrow morning. Kelly was going out, you know, to hang out with y'all. You guys were at the clothing exchange, and I was on the way to work, and you know this whole thing wouldn't work out. So because you don't want to introduce a dog, just throw him in the house and say go for it.
Like bye, yeah,
right?
you don't want to do that.
So anyways, we brought her in, and It has been unicorns and rainbows all the time. So much snuggles. So,
Aw.
man, it is like, yo, it is.
It's like they know. I mean, yeah, dogs know.
They have a weird sibling rivalry. Like, they respect each other. They like each other to a certain extent, but they don't. Like, I tried to reenact this picture that Mac had sent me of the two dogs being held together as puppies, and I was gonna try to reenact it. And when I did, it was like, it's like, you got daddy, this is my daddy. No.
They're both female though, right?
Yeah.
That's typical.
Yeah, so I was unable to recreate that cuteness, but the cuteness that I have before I pass the mic here is that what they do is I'll sit down on my place on the couch, which is in the corner, and then Roxy comes and puts her head on my lap, and then Dixie, which is very similar. Roxy also does the same thing where she climbs on the top of the couch and lays on top of the couch like Snoopy on top of the house. Mm-hmm. And so she does that, but then she lays and she puts her paw right on top of my head. It is fantastically adorable. But anyways, Yanni, you have any dogs?
We do. We have a husky. Her name is Onyx. And we just put down our chihuahua we had for 15 years. Her name was Bella. And we got her ashes. We're going to plant an apple tree in the springtime. Very soon, actually. Within the next few weeks. And put her ashes there. And we're going to call it the Bella tree. And so she was a great dog. But, Chihuahuas are small dogs. And they have lots of health problems and things. So we thought it was the best thing to put her down. She was pretty much blind and couldn't hear, and she kept injuring herself, and she was incontinent where she was constantly peeing and drinking water like it's going out of style.
Usually kidneys.
Kidneys failure, basically, yeah. So, but anyway, she was a good dog. It's different not having her around, that's for sure. And sometimes I feel like I hear her when she was here, the certain noises she would make at night, especially. It's like the ghost of Bella or something. I don't know. It's
you hear their nails
yes,
hitting on the
yes.
I get that. Like when I had a boxer. I love my boxer, my Deester Beaster. He would like walk across the floor and I hear it click, 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 click at night. He'd always get up at night and just kind of like snoop around the kitchen just to make sure there was no morsels left behind. And after we put him down, like I would still hear that. It was so weird. It's like wake up, like, is there a dog in the kitchen? Did we put everything away? I'm sure we did.
Yeah.
Did we close the trash can? So
well,
yeah.
I definitely was relieved through the process. We took her to Warren County Animal Hospital and they gave her a shot to put her to sleep, and then they do the euthanization, which made me feel better that it wasn't some painful, torturous thing.
Yeah.
She yelped from the needle, which I'd yelp too if I hate needles. But and then she went to sleep in my wife's arms, and then she handed her over. So, but surreal, definitely hit my emotion strings a little bit, days after, obviously, whenever we lose a loved one, whether it's an animal or family. And then I just lost my grandma. She's my stepdad's mom. She was 91.
Oh, wow.
And she opted for this heart surgery on a heart valve, and she didn't make it through the surgery. So.
Oh no.
But she's in heaven with my grandpa, and she was an amazing woman. Never drank, never smoked, never did anything bad, just was part of the church and, lived a normal life, and helped take care of her kids and, sent Christmas cards every Christmas. And I was actually going to go up and see her this year, ironically enough, because I felt like she wasn't going to be around. Like I intuitively felt like she wasn't going to be around much longer. And then literally 3-4 weeks later, I hear this, and so I was like, man, I wish I could have seen her just one more time. But, it's 2024 was a rough year. I call it close the door to 2024 and thrive in 2025, kind of my motto. But, and we all have experienced losses and things. This is why it's really important for us to stick together and support each other emotionally, energetically, the whole 9 yards. so we can heal. You know, it's all about healing and moving on to bigger and better things.
Yeah.
So that's what my divine mission in this life is to help others heal and just be a positive presence,
Yeah.
you know, to others.
Well, there's some negative presence in this chat room. Somebody just wrote hand job. And
That's
another
not negative. What the
That's
fuck are you
not
talking-
negative.
Yeah, dog, let's go skiing.
Well, it depends
Let's
on
go
the
skiing.
content.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was lunar sprunk, so I think he's gonna rip it out of my jeans. But we also got the comment that these were Oklahoma beignets.
Yeah, I agree because I couldn't finish it. But
That's fine. I was about to ask if I
It's
could
the
eat
thought
last
that
one.
counts.
Yeah, dude, really.
yeah, it was. So thank you for bringing them.
There's also fucking New Orleans fucking what's it called voodoo chips in there.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Crunchy.
2.5
And I got
million
a
on the
can of
Scoville
co-
unit scale.
And I got a can of gumbo just because.
You got a can of
He's got
a
gumbo,
can,
Jenny.
A can of gumbo.
Yeah, I didn't make
guy,
it.
this
The gumbo.
motherfucker right here.
I
got
didn't. I didn't make it. It was a joke. I was gonna put it right in
Oh
front of
my
here.
god! You know
Shrimp
what?
gumbo.
I'm gonna make gumbo for everyone now because I can make some fucking gumbo.
I don't know
Let me
if you know
tell
this
you.
about me or not, but I've actually won an award for gumbo.
Oh really?
Isn't gumbo
I feel
just
like
a
we need
stew?
a gumbo off.
I can gumbo it up with the best of them.
We're gonna have to have a gumbo
I have,
off.
You guys
I have-
are gonna
I have a
gumbo
I
off.
almost actually wore my gumbo crown tonight to the show.
What?
Yeah, but I didn't because it
I
was
make some bomb diggity gumbo.
All right, explain to me what gumbo, if you were to give me a meaning.
So it's
interpretation of
like
that.
it's
It's like a stew.
it's Louisiana's goulash.
There you go. I like that.
You know, gumbo actually has a lot of. Speaking of community and positivity, gumbo actually is a very communal food, and like basically, it's a hodgepodge that you had people all bring together different stuff. You had this farmer would bring the vegetables and the rice, and then you
I
had
like
the you'd have the fisherman would bring the shrimp or the catfish or whatever, the gator or whatever it is they caught. And another farmer would bring the pig or whatever it is and bring the sausage, or somebody or a hunter would bring a duck or
Yeah.
turtle or whatever.
And they would
so
add
everybody, and everybody would kind of bring it together. So it had a really cool back history of it, and using flour as your like base protein for your stock, which is awesome. In your roux, which is awesome because that's a very poor it's a poor person at making an adaptation of something to be able to create a flavor with minimal resource. So there's a lot of cool communal aspect of gumbo, just to get weird about it because I'm super baked and
Kenworthy, that was great.
I love gumbo. I fucking love gumbo.
Yeah, same here.
I have made. I mean, they still use my gumbo recipe at the Cowboy Cafe in Arlington.
Really?
Yeah, dude, it's just
So
fucking
now
good.
I'm gonna have to make it and just let you try it, and you can tell me what you
I make
think.
some good. But the thing about gumbo is that there's no set. Like it's not like a chicken noodle soup, or it's not like it's not like
No.
a sweet and sour soup, or it's not like a minestrone. There's no set parameter to it. So
Right.
there's different types. I do a dark roux in mine, and some people don't care for because it is a little bit bitter because I do a dark roux style. Like I do it very like I make it shit black as Samuel Jackson's. You know what?
Wing.
I was gonna say butthole, but
Penis.
but yeah, penis probably as well too. But maybe purple. But that's like what he made his, just because that's what he made his color for his lightsaber.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think gumbo. So I mean, a gumbo is like, and there's some people that make it. They make it with like a gumbo yaya, where they put the tomatoes in it, or you have like light roux or dark roux. It all
Yeah.
depends. So it's an awesome thing. And that's my TED talk on gumbo for the evening.
The only thing that I typically don't add to mine because I'm a texture person is the okra.
I don't put okra in
Oh,
mine.
no.
Okay.
No slimy
no,
okra,
No,
please.
dude, it smells like it smells weird, and it also tastes like boogers. Like it's like
It really does.
I've never ate okra.
I like.
Snotty boogers.
Yes, thank you. I'm so glad we all agree.
Well, no. I actually, so I don't put it in I don't put it in the actual roux, and I don't put it in there. But I like it as a garnish. What I do is I'll take the okra and I cut it, and then you blanch it in salt water. And after you blanch it, you shock it. You do a light blanch, and the blanching will remove the sliminess. You take it out, shock it, then you dry it, and then you bread and fry it, and you put that as a garnish for it.
All right.
Thank you,
Might have-
Kenworthy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I might have to try that. Like that's the only thing I don't add. What proteins do you put? Because I do like the typical like sauce. I do my own. I make my own sausage and then shrimp, I do like crayfish.
Protein.
Yeah.
So when I won the championship at the Tower Club in Tyson's Corner for Club Corps International, amongst 14 other competitors, I made and stuffed my own andouille, but I made it with alligator, pork, and chicken.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then alligator, pork, and duck. And that was it. And I kept the pork and I kept the duck and the alligator meat chunky, and then
Tastes like chicken.
And then so there was that in that andouille. It had the alligator, duck, and pork, and then I had in the actual gumbo itself, I put sea scallops, crab meat, oyster, and shrimp. And then, that was it. And then topped, long grain white rice, shaved scallions, and some fried okra on top of that. Yeah, so that's how I go about with the gumbo.
So, Lunar Sprunk has a name for your gumbo.
What's that?
Cumbo.
Combo.
I see
Yes.
that combo.
Ew.
Gumbo.
Gross.
Aye.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
No, thank you.
Yeah, but that's the
That's the protein.
Yes, that's the protein I like to.
How about if you live in a slum and you call it Slumbo?
Slumbo
That
is
sounds
made with
like-
Slim
That's-
Jims.
yes.
You use Slim Jims.
No, Slumbo is Guantley hot dogs
When I think of fucking
and chicken wings.
Hand gathered chicken wings out of the trash bags.
when I think of Slumbo, I think about like a game where you're jumping over like a rusty like railing like 5 times. Like some like hood game you could play. Yo, y'all ready to play Slumbo?
Slumbo would have been the blaxploitation version of Rambo. Slumbo.
Y'all better get around from here. I came back from the war. I was tweaked.
That's a good one.
That's my dumpster. Slumbo.
Slumbo.
First blood.
Rated R starts
For-
Friday,
no,
theaters
yeah,
everywhere.
Young. He'd be like, "What you doing, young blood?" That'd be it. Or young blood, maybe.
One man.
You know how the bull
one
black guys
desire.
always say?
Oh, dude, my dad used to just call it like my dad had like an afro with a hat on it. Him and his friends used to call each other blood. Like I don't know what the fuck it
Hey,
was.
blood.
Yeah, like I was like, all right, these guys, they fight and they drink.
My stepdad says young money. Young money.
Young Manny.
Young
That's
money.
like your stepdad's Lil Wayne.
No.
That would be tight if your stepdad actually was
I mean-
Lil Wayne, and you've just been holding out on telling us that forever. For
Guess
some
what,
reason.
guys?
There's something
No.
I need to tell you.
Tip your mic up a little bit.
No, he's
Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have to check out for the evening,
Okay.
but I certainly appreciate the invite. It was a great time, and I look forward to doing this again.
Hells
Yes,
yeah.
thanks for coming.
Thank you, Mr. GP
Oh, thank you for coming.
Yanni got a hot date.
and Lita Diamond, ladies and gentlemen, and the one and only Chris Kenworthy.
That was. I wish we had.
Thank you, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
think we should put that. We need to record that and use that as our. That's just our intro from now on, at the beginning of the show. That way.
Can you do me a favor and say something before you leave? Can
Sure.
we say like Destiny to the stage?
Gentlemen, coming up next on the small stage, it's the fabulous Destiny and Storm. Remember, gentlemen, ladies work for tips and tips only. Aye.
Yeah. Yeah.
This summer, one man, one mission, one desire.
Are you sure you gotta go?
In a world,
I'm down to like.
in a world where both of our cars were totally underwater, a new wind was about to blow. Payback. This time, it's for real.
That was amazing.
Awesome.
What? Come on, man.
Hello, it's nice to see you. When you're pumping iron, it feels like you're coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get to the chopper.
Yeah, get to the chopper, you son of a bitch. What's the matter? The CIA got you pushing too many pencils? Yeah. Caitlin, you.
That's probably the best meme. Do you remember that meme? It was like it's Arnold Schwarzenegger and Caitlyn Jenner,
Yeah.
and they're like, dude, and he actually fives him like it's fucking Predator.
Caitlyn.
It is not.
You son
fucking
of a
that-
bitch.
Hey, Caitlyn. That shit was so good. Oh man, Arnold. Man, you know, Arnold should have run for president.
Yeah,
that'd
I
been
mean,
awesome.
he can't though.
One day, you know what? They had Simpsons. Remember when the Simpsons they've called it? There was that one episode where they
Everything
made it,
comes true.
They had the constitutional amendment that made non-national citizens able to become presidents.
I will definitely vote for him.
Fuck yeah! Are you
I
kidding
love
me?
Arnold. He's
You-
my favorite. I love Arnold.
Arnold Schwarzenegger and Dwayne the Rock Johnson is his vice president, and then like John Cena and who's somebody Kurt Angle and
They call him Perk Angle.
Perk Angle. Is that what? Yeah, dude. I mean, probably. Have you ever watched Vice, the Vice show, Dark Side of the Ring?
No.
Thank you for coming, Yanni.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for
You ain't got
coming.
one
See you
more?
next time.
You got one more?
All right, let's see.
You're one ugly motherfucker.
You're one ugly motherfucker. What the hell are you? Yeah.
Say something he wouldn't say, like, pull down your pants and show me your asshole.
Take out the papers in the trash, or you don't get no spending cash. You better mop that kitchen floor, or you ain't going out no more. Yakety yak, don't come back.
Oh my gosh.
And remember, when you're listening to oldies, you're listening to 95.3 The River, your station, your music.
Jesus Christ.
Cheese and rice, this man's crazy.
You know what? That's how we're gonna get on the river. Is we're gonna have Yanni announce this. Man, what motherfucking. That's what we're. The River 95.3. We need to get. We're coming for you.
I used to do
I'm not coming for anybody.
I used to do a DC 101, and it's like, it was 866-235-5468. Hello, who's this? Hey, what's up, dude? Ellie in the morning.
Nice.
When you're rocking out with your cock out and you're listening to the nation's capital, DC 101. And now back to regular scheduled programming.
He's going to cut all these sections up and send them to different stations and be like, yo, I'm ready for war.
Oh, my gosh. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. Signing off.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you. We'll
Drive
see you
safe.
next time.
Yeah.
Holla. That's right. DJ Jan, look at him
Yeah.
on the Facebook. Go to the Catamount Lounge.
Classic
on
Jan.
Friday nights
Pulling out-
karaoke.
Pulling out early. As you down. He's Catholic. You know? He's doing the right thing.
See, I told you, you do it. You fuck everybody up when they walk out of here. He does that to me too. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I haven't smoked a goddamn thing. I'm higher than a giraffe's ass right now.
I did pterodactyl labia. So I did a set at El Rey on Wednesday night, and Alec Quinn was there. That's another homie that was there. I love Alec. She's great. She does dinosaur jokes, and so she had dinosaur jokes, and then she's a young lady comedian, so of course she talks about her vagina a little bit and just vaginas in general. And so I got up there, and I had part of my bit was just gonna riff off her because it was like, yo, she ain't gonna be the only one up here telling dinosaur jokes and pussy jokes. And she's like, yeah, man. I was like, some of these jokes I wrote when I was high, man. She's like, you know how high I was? I was high as pterodactyl labia. And like, I was like, there you go. That's a dinosaur joke and a pussy joke right in one. And like, John laughed at it. John Yeager laughed at it. And like, motherfucking people, like this one comedian lady that was in the front row, she laughed at it. And then I was like, and I did a few more jokes. Like I'm high, Brachiosaurus ball sack, blah, blah, blah. I have Tyrannosaurus Rex areolus. And like and it was I ran it like maybe a couple too long, but it was like, man, dude, like I forget why we were talking about dinosaurs. Oh yeah, getting high as I was going to get. So I was saying, so being high as a pterodactyl labia is something to think about, and that would be weird to think about from the context point of being in Jurassic Park, and like you hear a flapping sound and you expect to see just like a pterodactyl flapping at you with its wings, and it's just sitting in the perch and just like.
I wonder. Oh God. I wonder.
Thank you so much for laughing at that joke, because that is not the response I got on Wednesday night. And maybe I should just like cheech out the places before I go and like pull like one of those like old '90s movie heists where I put
I
it like.
think I would have laughed at that either way.
Thank you.
But
Does you turn around? It's just like
it's probably because you went to a room where they were all like worked at the zoo. They were like, they actually have a cloaca.
No, the problem is, and just to be clear, You're in Arlington, Virginia, where it's everybody works in IT or finance, and so they have small penises and are extremely not funny, and like it just there was is
that where they say things like punching down?
Yes, they stuff like punching down, or you're on a journey when you do something like
fuck is punch? What does that mean?
Yeah, you can't
punching down means like pretty much like I'm shitting on a little guy.
Well, you can't make fun of anything that's lower on the level of oppression than you. So like,
yeah, but dude, man, like it is crazy because everything is going so fucking fast that nobody knows what the fuck that is anymore.
Yeah, like it's. I heard somebody talking to another comedian about how he made jokes about his wife, stereotypical like dad jokes about like his relationship, something that other people can relate to. That's his life. And somebody else told him that like he should drop the jokes making fun of his wife because that's punching down. I was like, what? That's his experience. That's not punching down. He wasn't like she's a whore or anything like that. Anything like it was more just like the dynamics between males and females. Like it may be something that I might not personally be like I'm going to pay to see that, but they were crafted jokes. They made sense, and it was his art. So punching down isn't even to me, I don't see it as like, of course, if you went on stage, you're like, how about those Jews? And started being a fucking racist. That's a different thing.
Yeah. That's not punching down because the Jews control everything. And so fucking they won, dude. Like, you could say, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Jewish jokes in media don't really work because it's like that thing when you're a kid and you're running at somebody full speed and like swinging as hard as you can, and just the big kid is just holding him out, like, and they're just
I definitely think,
and like, I want to be Jewish. By the way, just to preface everything I just said, looking like an overfed extra from American History X, that I want to be Jewish. I think that's my thing in life. Well, that part of that, but yes, it's also I enjoy a lot of the things. I like the traditions. I like the humor. I like the food.
Well, I think with any group, the outside viewpoints of other people, what they think is like, for instance, some people would be like, if somebody made a joke about a black person that wasn't slighting their intelligence or anything like that, like I don't find it offensive. Some people would, especially like younger people. Like I don't get offended by it.
If I make a black joke, I make about two things. Y'all's ability to dance well and your large penises, because then I'm reinforcing it's a positive stereotype.
Well, some people
am I wrong? It's a positive stereotype.
Some people will still get mad at you if you say anything about like our large penises. So
very large and bulbous, veiny, purple penises. No, you know, it's funny you mentioned that. Sorry to cut you off, but it was to mention that is that there are trigger words that you can use, and when you look like me, so I'm trying to work on this like joke series where it's like it's hard being a straight white guy out here, but you have to be a good-hearted straight white guy out here because you're not trying to do anything wrong, but a lot of times you feel like Lucy Arnaz, you know what I'm saying? You have a lot of splaining to do about everything you say and do, and it's like, and it sucks because there's a reason for the whole. There's a reason why there is that situation, but at the same time, it's like. Especially in comedy, that you find as a straight white guy that looks like an overfed extra from the movie American History X, which is a Nazi, is what I'm going for. But I don't want to say Nazi because I don't want people thinking like,
just say Yahtzee,
because that's another trigger word. All you have to say is Nazi, and it is like it is Nazi almost these days. Like I feel in certain company is almost as bad as saying the N-word, because not because of the word itself, but because of that emotional invocation that it had.
Fucking Nazi, dude. I'll punch one in the face.
See, you're getting mad as shit right now,
absolutely,
man. Like,
fuck
I didn't even
Nazis,
mean for that to happen. I'm sorry.
Nazis.
But I don't like. But anyways,
always punch one.
But it sucks because like it's actually humorous to me because I got booked for a comedy show at the beginning of January that didn't go through, and it was queers and conservatives, and I was profiled as one of the two. And it wasn't the queers, okay? And, like, I'm sorry because two of the most flattering moments I had in 2024 were where I was mistaken for being gay. And one time was in DuPont Circle when I was with Shannon and Julieta and Sam, and we ended up in this situation where we were going through line at a counter-based patisserie, which is a bakery for you rednecks. And the cashier rang up the two guys ahead of me, and they rung my stuff up with his. and it was just 2 pain of chocolat. By the way, shout out to Sam Rusnak for hooking me up with a patio's pain of chocolat that I will eat when I get home tonight for Mardi Gras. But anyways, back to the story. I got mistaken the gay cashier, which I always have to put that in there. It's not because I want to be like, oh, that gay cashier. I'm like, no, I want to let you know that the authentication I got is that the gay cashier was like, oh, I thought you was with them. I thought you were with them.
You were like,
and I was like,
unicorn.
I was like, like how? And he was like they're, and he was like, like they're, like they're. And I was like they're sugar baby? And he was like, yeah, kind of. And I was like, that's fucking awesome. And and you know what here's the thing. It was I was wearing I had a matching polo shirt and I had a matching sweatshirt too that I'd tied around my neck and then a matching umbrella with it. And that's what
I mean, sometimes
you walking in there looking extra accessorized and you're mad at this dude for being like, yo, that's the sugar baby.
To be fair, he dresses nice. Like, he does know how to, like...
Oh yeah,
you dress well, so like.
Thank you, girl. And I don't know why they thought I was gay. No, but seriously, but it was flattering. No, it was like, and I stepped back and I was like, 2 things about that. Number 1, I got my shit paid for. Number 2, I was like, oh my god, like the twink behind the bar thought that I was there, and he's probably somebody's sugar baby, right? So like this motherfucker knows good quality sugar babies, So I got that.
That's your contemporary right there.
The other time I was in Richmond with DJ Billy Crystalfingers, aka Eric Holmgren, my BFF, and we go into and we both rolled up, and he dresses he's very stylish in his own he's very accessorized and very well put together, and then I have my own thing, and we rolled into this bar and we sat down and we come up and like and the waitress comes up to us and she puts down the water and she goes, "Oh my god, guys, I just want to let you know, you guys are so cute. Like, you guys are dressed so nicely." And she was like, and pats us on the back and gives us kind of like this cute look back, but not like a, look back. It was like oh my gosh. And she goes back and like, my boy Eric's like, he's like staring ahead a little bit. And he's like, I was like, yo, yeah, dude. And he was like, yep. I was like, she thought we were a gay couple. And I was like, and here's the thing. I was so flattered because I've been with him a million times in public. He's actually who I went to raves with and stuff. And he dresses nice. He's dressed nice since we were 10 years old. He's Ecuadorian. And I had to bring that in sort of racistly on a positive racist stereotype, saying that Ecuadorians dress nicely.
They do dress nice.
Right.
I mean...
And so so that was another flattering point of 2024 when I found out that was like that the girl thought we were getting them, then she was like, and I was like, well, somehow I like wanted to be like, well, like us manly men and our wives, and afterwards, no, we were, but later on she recognized him. She actually then recognized him from his local celebrity status and was like, hey, are you DJ Billy Crystalfingers? And I was like, man, this is fucking badass. I got mistaken for a local celebrity side piece. This is fucking fantastic. And
you're just relishing in it.
I was like, yeah, dude.
Were you glowing?
I don't think there's anything wrong with being gay.
So, no, absolutely not.
So I don't. So when you're like, you gay, and I'm like, yes, I listen. You know
absolutely.
Do you know how much Lady Gaga I listen to in a week? If you ask Alexa what our top 3 plays on fucking on our whatever Amazon Music, it's going to be Red Clay Strays because Kelly listens to Red Clay Strays nonstop. It's probably going to be like Fleetwood Mac because that's what Lauren and Aubrey will put on all the time. They're also ones that shout over it. I would say Ashley comes in third, but she does a melange of shit. And then there would be Lady Gaga, which is mine in the morning when I get up and I'm like, Alexa, play Lady Gaga Bloody Mary. I want to be inspired for the morning, and just like I get up there.
I just had a thought of you sliding in like Tom Cruise in Risky Business, being like, Rama, I only had like one. It's probably happened more than that, but like one time it was confirmed that somebody thought like me and Adam were gay at Pavement when we first came out here. Because like,
ooh, that's nice.
So like, I reached over and put my hand on top of his because she had to go get her goddamn ID, and then all of a sudden we had a different waiter. They got scared, but then I was like, that's not even when I used to dress nice. So I was like, yo, like what the fuck.
Like these bears
are out here.
Bears, these little Virginia black.
Imagine her confusion when I came into the mix, and I was like,
no, there was no confusion. You showed up with two leashes and a cattle prod. We all knew what the fuck was going on.
I mean, I wish.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
can't do that now because it's a little bit of a town that doesn't accept those kind of things.
I
Leashes
mean, I
might
think
be-
it's all.
Didn't you have a
contingent.
t-shirt that-
we accept that type?
Oh, I do have a T-shirt that. So like, right.
By the way, I would disagree with you. There's a spot on Main Street where you can feel free
Yep.
to cattle prod
Oh,
two boys
absolutely.
on a leash at any point in time.
Oh,
That
I
is
know
the
that.
Catamount
I
Lounge.
know that. I know that.
Anybody that wants to domineer you, we can for a small fee or a trade of trades. We can discuss your dominatrix position there. But just kidding.
You know what's hard about like fetish wear, being a larger man of carriage? If I put that stuff on, I just started ending up looking like James Gandolfini in the 8mm.
Well, at least you like
I can't
that.
come in with a gimp mask. They'd be like, "Yo, that's definitely rape." That's no.
And
He doesn't know safe words. Like I might as well have a.
I'm more subtle. I think when we first moved here, like I wasn't married to Adam at the time, and I had this shirt that said "I love my boyfriend," but then I added like an S. I love my boyfriend. So like when I would go out, people sort of knew, especially if I was hanging out with my two pieces at the time. So yeah.
2 pieces and a biscuit.
Yep.
The KFC standard.
Ha ha ha. But yeah, now I don't.
Extra gravy.
I'm a little bit more quiet about that. Unless somebody asks. So and then I answer candidly. So
yeah, that's good. I mean, yeah, I think that's one thing I applaud of you and your lifestyle choice is that, I mean, like I from an observational standpoint, because I'm a bartender that happens to be around, I can see some things that happen. But one thing I like about it is it's not your identity.
no.
It's not who you identify as, and like and you're not it's not on Front Street.
No.
So that's why, like, because sometimes, and like we'll leave names nameless, but the one that shall not be named, and you know who I'm talking about. She's like, "Oh, I hate her because she's a whore," and you're like, and I was like, I stopped her dead in her tracks. I was like, "Listen," I was like, "She don't say shit. She doesn't do what you're doing, which is going to bars and being like, oh, hey, boys, guess who's out? Who wants them? Who can handle a piece of this? You know, like."
Yeah.
And you're like,
I'm not that kind of person.
I know it's unfortunate.
I need
because
connection first. Sorry, guys.
It's unfortunate because if you did that, I feel like you would drum up way more business at the Catamount Lounge for us. And so I'm kidding.
Sorry to disappoint.
You do plenty well in the amount of motherships you land in a week.
Oh yeah, I love them shits, dude.
That's
They're
one of my
fresh.
drinks.
It reminds me, like I actually watched Bridesmaids the other day.
Yeah.
You know, for the millionth time because I fucking love that movie. And there's this one part where she's like, she's kind of like bitter because she's not like she's not the maid of honor anymore, and she rolls up into this like posh place, and they hand her like a little lemonade drink, and she's like, "Fuck this lemonade drink," and then she drinks and she's like, "Fuck, this is fresh."
Yeah.
That's what I feel every time I drink one of those. It's fucking fresh.
So that's actually
my fresh drink.
One of my original drinks that I got to make. And I based it off of a drink that one of my friends made that I saw like many, many, many years ago as a bartender. He did like rose water and grapefruit juice and something else. But we use Tito's vodka, which is from Austin, Texas, and then the mothership is Joe Rogan's comedy club that's in Austin, Texas. So that's hopefully what my big plan here is, that, and I'm paying homage is that. Eventually, it's going to get back to Joe Rogan that there's a drink named after his comedy club made out of Tito's, and then they'll be like, "Oh, well, who made it?" And be like, "Oh, he just coincidentally, he's a comedian too." And then like, bam! Then I get picked up by Joe Rogan, and then I'm on his show and we become best friends. And then eventually, he turns gay for me, and then I turn gay for him already, and then we are gay together. I'm just kidding. One can only hope. But I actually couldn't deal. To be real though, just to be clear. If I was going gay, I'm going way more effeminate. Now, I don't want like eyeliner shit, but like I want like,
So you're gonna be the lavender.
Yes.
The lavender guy, like dresses well.
Yes.
And like makes fun of people like with their comrades and
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, it has
that kind.
Yes, exactly. I don't want like a bear And like, I don't want a twink. I want like a nice.
Yeah, in the middle,
Yeah,
lavender.
Thank you. Thank you for putting it. It's weird because lavender is my safety word of choice.
I'm going to think logically, and I'm going to go with Tom Hardy, but that's just because when we're not doing it, we can do jujitsu. So
Holy shit, that guy.
we'll both get better.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why. I can understand why both you all will think of Tom Hardy. Okay, he's hot, but not. It's not for me hot. You know what I mean? Like,
So hot.
yeah, I'm more of a
You
Toby,
can stay
Toby
in-
Maguire.
Look.
Yeah, Toby Maguire, bring him on, dude. What's up?
See,
I
you're
can get
you're
that.
thinking a little bit more physical. What I'm thinking is it's safety. You know, like I have to get out of bed if there's a strange noise in the middle of the night. If Tom Hardy's spooning me,
He's just gonna strangle people. There's this interview where this dude's like, "What do you do for fun?" He's like, "Well, I like to strangle people or
I see.
smother." He's like, "I like to smother people," and I'm like,
yeah, he trains.
"Can
God.
you smother me, please?"
I'm gonna go super jujitsu nerd. So he trains at a
my face.
Lord.
I don't know.
But he trains with this guy
Balls
named
right here.
Jesus Christ. He trains with this guy named Tom DeBlas, and they actually have a thing called a smother choke. And I mean, you might like this too, but he takes his chest muscles and he just puts them over your nose, and he pulls your face, like the back of your head, into his chest.
Please pop me like a pumpkin.
Tap. Is there no tap? Oh man, do you know what though? That yeah, that's. Oh boy, that's the mental image on that right there.
Lord. So I know you don't want to do a full segment for
No, I don't.
for movies because there's no list this week. We couldn't tie anything to DJ Jan's.
I actually looked
Close
for like
Encounters of the Third
DJ
Kind.
stuff, and there was like a few things like Catacombs, like
Yeah.
was sort of because like it starts with her going into a club, and then she
Yeah, the beginning
Like-
of Blade, but not.
Blade,
too
I was
much.
about literally.
Blade, but like I've mentioned those movies before, so they didn't match it, and then I tried to find something that was like Mardi Gras related, and there is none.
Really?
We gotta make one.
You
Yeah.
know what?
We should make one.
You know what we would, and here would be. This is my thing. So where he would feel comfortable with Tom Hardy in the bed. This is how the Mardi Gras horror movie that we would make would start with. Is that my guy being Lavender? Of course, is going to have at least one or two small dogs. Probably a Pomeranian.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
so that's how I know the intruder is going to be there. Also, Pomeranians are known to be nippy. So, you know, that's where I would feel more safe. But then it would start off with the Pomeranians. The Pomeranians get away, of course, in this. The humans slaughtered all this shit. And it's like, oh my God, the bartender comedian guy is caught in bed with these two old gentlemen and a pan of chocolat.
A steaming fucking cup of Cafe Du Monde.
Hey man, that sounds fantastic right now.
That was another.
Shikari.
That was another
Yeah.
thing I was trying to find because they used to carry it in the stores
Shikari.
around here, and I couldn't
Shikari.
fucking find it. Like it wasn't even like tagged. Fucking shitty people. You don't respect culture.
Absolutely
But
not.
the Oscars were this week, and it was a big deal because Demi Moore got snubbed. She won every major award leading up to it for The Substance.
I mean,
Lita was a huge fan of it. I was a fan
very
of it.
rare that horror gets
They-
acknowledged like that. So
Yeah.
it wasn't surprising to me. I'll be honest, but it is ironic that the other person. I mean, that was the whole point of the
Yeah.
substance.
Yeah.
I've never even I've
heard of that movie, and it's
I've
more.
heard of
it's
that
it's
movie.
just a
I
movie.
watched it, like half of it, and for me, like
It's just a boring movie about
it's
sex workers.
Yeah, it to me it was
Boring
boring
movie
as shit.
about
It was like,
sex.
huh. I'm disappointed that they didn't go with something that was, because I've seen movies about sex workers.
Yeah.
Come on, like I've seen tons of them. They've
I
been
mean-
done over and over and over again. So why can't we, like recognize horror for what it is? And that one's a very good one. It's very thought provoking and.
They
Like
did.
for me, because I think at the time when I watched it, I was going through this like I don't want to call it a midlife crisis, but there was like a couple of people that shamed my age and shamed, like me dating like maybe slightly younger people, and so like it touched sort of on my soul a little bit. Like I was like I can connect with Demi Moore's character at the time. So I'm disappointed that she didn't win that
Yeah,
for that reason because
they only
yeah.
won one award at the Oscars. It was for visual and special effects.
that's
That makes sense because that was like
Oh,
just,
yeah.
just the end scene where the face crawls over the Hollywood star.
yeah, that's her last my like safe spot. Yeah.
Uh,
Such a great movie. I think it was it's a beautiful movie. Like there's parts in the movie where you're like, if you're female and you're going through, that stage in life, you're gonna be like, holy shit, this movie speaks to me. it does. Like it's basically this.
That's how I felt about the Karate Kid.
It's this
when I was
old
a
woman that she just society like has like pushed her, like at least like in her industry has pushed her away because she's an older woman. That's just the way it goes. And so she just hates herself so much that she's willing to take this drug to make herself younger or have a better version of herself. But she gets sort of greedy with that.
Yeah.
And she wants to be that younger version, that younger, more beautiful, more vibrant, self. And it destroys her actual self. So it's a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, you absolutely should. And then you'll understand why I'm so fucking pissed that it only won for visual effects. Like, that's crazy to me. So, yeah.
What you gonna do?
It's a good movie.
Oscar award
We
winners.
should actually have a
We coming for you.
viewing party. We should watch it all together. Just so I can watch your face on the really fucked up gory parts. Because I'm going to be like...
Bring the smelling salts in case you have to bring me back.
Look at Chris. Is he okay? Do we have to revive
What
him?
if instead of giving you smelling salts, they just gave you like Rush poppers, and you were like, "Oh, my butthole's loose now."
Tom Hardy. Is that you?
Yes, it is.
It's always weird when you hear him speak in his real accent.
I'm gonna
because, like,
smother you.
Yeah, I'm gonna smother you with my bowls.
Have you ever thought about
I
my?
love his accent.
It's
Have
gonna
you
be-
ever
it'll be
thought about
mental.
my penis in your vagina?
It'll be mental. You'll be
Every
mentalized
single
with my
day,
massive.
Tom. Every single day.
We'll dance in a drum and bass massive. It'll be a junglist massive.
Oh, dude, I remember there's a picture of me. Oh, fuck, I forgot about this. I don't even know if I should say this on there. But I had a pair of panties on my face, and my eyes were through the leg holes, and I was like,
No, you should share it because that memory actually popped up.
Do you remember?
You tell the story
Do you,
there.
do you remember when there was the mask shortage during the pandemic when it first popped off? And there was that dude who went viral in London because he ended up like they were like, "Oh, you absolutely have to wear a mask," and they didn't have any, and he didn't bring one, and so he bought a pair of like they were Union Jack thongs, and he put it on his face, and he fucking wore panties as a mask. Yo, that shit was fantastic.
He did it before it was fashionable.
Yes, I did.
This is like the
before it was funny.
Yeah, I think this is like when we first started dating, sort of. So like my underwear was there, and like he wanted to be funny, and he put it on his face, and he acted like that dude. What did you
Bane.
say?
I
Yeah,
was
Bane. Like he
I
looked
was
like
molded by it.
By the menstruation. Bane, dude, that was
Oh
you
my
know what
God, I
that
laughed so
that
hard.
role was amazing, and they didn't
Do
need-
you
they didn't
think you're really in control?
Yeah, that,
Yeah.
that opening scene in that movie is like one of my favorite scenes in movie history, and it's up there with like Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark, like that opening. I think that's up there. Terminator.
That's
too.
how Christopher Nolan has the best. If they had an award for best beginning of a movie, he'd probably win because every single movie he has, the beginning is like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
By the time it hits the titles,
dialogue. Yeah, it's like wow, it's powerful. and
Inception.
it literally like
You're like,
it
all right,
draws
I
the
gotta
audience.
watch this.
You know.
Yeah, you always start off with like some like, especially in Dark Knight, when they go into that plane, you're like, oh, what? The plane just broke in half. These motherfuckers are on another plane now. Yo, this is the best comic book movie ever. I do stand behind that. Like Marvel movies are good because they feel like the comic book. Like they feel like those characters are like these weird aliens. Like each character, it feels like its own universe. Like the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, I think are the best because it's a lot of it seems like not stuff that could happen, but it makes sense the way they do it. Like, yeah, you'd have to have this. They'd have to have fucking air masks on their face to be able to like do this in the middle of the air. Like, none of the dudes are like skinny or flabby. All the dudes that are hitmen look like they could fuck you up. Like, like when the Joker had his shit when he was like planning for them to all kill each other. Like just shit that like you'd be like, yep, that's probably what a real Joker like type dude would do. Or like Bane when he's like blowing up the shit. Like it's
Yeah.
Batman,
absolutely.
I'm coming for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There it is. Thanks. That's
Batman.
Yeah,
like that. I like the new
Batman's
Robert
actually
Pattinson Batman universe because like their characters are kind of cool too. It's more like the comic book in terms of like they look like Penguin looks fucking odd as shit.
I like the fact they made him a Jew this time.
Who?
Batman.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't even. Oh yeah, Batman.
It's Batman and Superman.
Dude, I like
Aquaman.
I do think it's kind of cool that they just gave him like because it's supposed to be his first year that he's got a lot of like it's more shitty stuff. Like he's got like some muscle car with a fucking jet engine on it, like something that like a person that had wealth could do feasibly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the first Batman movie. I enjoyed the first Joker movie. I didn't see the second one yet, not because I'm against it.
You got to think.
Don't.
But you know, here's the thing. Number one,
I mean,
Gaga,
it's good, but it's like
it's not the first movie.
Gaga.
No, it's good, but it's like a fever dream.
Yeah.
The entire movie is his fever dream.
Well, Jesus Christ.
And I think most people didn't like it because of the very ending. I'm not going to ruin it for you.
Yeah, the ending sucked.
Twist.
The ending was like.
Well, I heard Todd Phillips made that movie shitty on purpose because he didn't want to make a sequel.
That's what when Quentin Tarantino was like, I loved it because he said "fuck you" to the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was just like it barely made any sense. Even there was a comedian. God damn it, what is his name? The big gay dude.
Joe Rogan.
No,
damn it.
The actual he's fucking large as shit. Tim. Oh fuck. Either way, he's in the movie as one of the security guards in the mental asylum, and he like when he got out of that movie said he was like they didn't even know what that movie was about. Like nobody knew what it was about. Like they would do their parts and then they would leave.
Yeah.
So it was like nobody knew what it was.
It was literally him just like dreaming and hallucinating, and he's just delusional and falls in love with this person that is like him, which was so yeah.
Harlequin.
Yeah.
Everybody's favorite. That was everybody's favorite Halloween costume for several years in a row.
Yeah, it was when bodysuits came out, and you'd be like, "Hey,
like, I'm feeling
look at them titty cheeks.
Look at these.
Every girl at the Naughty
Look at
Pine's
my
like,
two
I'm
different
Harley
colored
Quinn. I'm gonna
hairs."
punch the machine now.
Have you ever got an aggressive blowjob behind a dumpster? I'm Harley Quinn.
I'm sorry, and I know that this is insensitive, but when you go to the Naughty Pine, one of my favorite things in there is when you go to the bathroom and on the wall, it says there's a penis drawn on the ceiling, and when you look up, it's an F-bomb. You know, I won't say the full word. But yes, it's an F-bomb, and I just find that to be like such juvenilistic humor that it's like, yo.
So I'm gonna say the word that I think it is. Is it somebody draw a dick and then write fag beside it?
Yes.
Oh my god. Dude, what the fuck? It would be no other place than the Naughty Pine.
Right? And
is that like total like?
It's not done in hate.
That is
so that's
no,
what
it's
I'm
not
saying.
done in hate. But like, is that what like?
That's
a
lot of effort to be
a dick is associated with that.
Yeah,
that's kind of weird.
Oh, dude, yeah, dude. Like,
I think at any point in time where a person's sexuality, no matter what it is, because I will say this, I did get attacked for being a straight comic the other day by a dude who was lavender as fuck, by the way, who did offer to give me a BJ in the bathroom just to make sure I wasn't gay. He was like, yeah, it was very flattering. Another flattering moment in the first one of 2025. He was a good look, man. I'll tell you.
Fuck, man.
Lavender dudes.
He was good. I told Kelly about this. Yeah, he was a good looking dude.
Chris, why you hogging up all these gay fucking shit? Offer me some blowjays, guys.
But yeah, it was hilarious, and so yeah, that was but yeah, he was that was a very flattering moment of 2025.
They're nice, aren't they? Though I actually shared a reel in a friend a personal friend group about lavenders, and I'm like, I think I need a lavender husband. I need someone that's gonna take me to like a wedding and like eat cake with me and like make sure I don't have make sure I don't have shit in my teeth, like make sure like I look on point, make fun of the other bridesmaids with me, and like that, and doesn't expect me to fuck them afterward. Like some like a nice
would look really good as Harley Quinn.
Really, really good looking guy on my shoulder. You know?
Yeah, dude. Everybody wants a snarky, good-looking gay dude. My
Absolutely.
my cousin-in-law actually fits the bill. Him and his husband. Oh my God, when we're out with them, man, I feel fucking invincible. I'm like, yo, bring it on. If I had a Tina with us, I'd say whatever the fuck I want, man. Like, get Tina and maybe like Ace to hang out. I'd be dropping hard R's, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Give me a goddamn bottle of liquor now. Go at him like Teen Wolf and shit.
Of beer. Dude, that's like, they're like, they're like, man, when you got like good looking like gay dudes who like are like lavender as fuck, dude, that's like,
and they take care of you, you know, they like boost your confidence and like, girl, you look good, it's fine.
Yeah, they do.
So
they do, unless
I'll settle for a compliment from a homeless woman. Help me out.
Hey, actually, that's when you know you've made it as well. Is when homeless women.
Like, look at the dick on that one as you walk by and saunter.
I mean,
that's all I want in my life.
If you can inspire sexuality in somebody who's in a survivalistic mode, then you are doing well, sir.
I washed this thing for you.
I shaved my balls for this homeless woman. Pretty woman too.
Hooker in the hood.
That'd be tight. Actually.
It's not.
You could have sexy red.
Yeah, back in
sexy red.
I was gonna say if it was back in the day, fresh off a Sister Act, it could have been Whoopi Goldberg.
Nobody want to see that.
That's why it's funny. She can't get no dates. She just yelling on the corner at motherfucker.
Dude,
I suck your dick.
I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to be mean here. It's just that she's not my cup of tea.
Me neither. Like, all right, so like, there's a certain point of black woman, that they're a certain amount of age older than me, that they are automatically not hot to me, but it's not because they aren't attractive to other people. It's because they look like my aunts.
Bruh.
And I'm like, yo, that's Aunt Gail, yo. You better get the fuck away from me.
She reminds me of Juana Man. All right? Like, I'm sorry. She's on that same level of sexy. Is she, you know what it reminds me of? You remember that movie, The Air Up There? Yeah, that's what, like, I'm sorry. And I'm being mildly racist, but these are positive racial stereotypes because these are very handsome and beautiful people I'm talking
honestly, if they'd have made it a couple years afterwards, it would have been, what's her name? Halle Berry.
Halle Berry.
She's
Halle Berry.
Dude, I used to fuck with in high school. I used to fuck with racists because it was right after what was it movie she was in with Billy Bob Thornton. It was where she was crying. She was like,
Fiesta?
"Make me feel good." I want to say Boomerang, but that's an Eddie Murphy.
No,
movie.
yeah, that's Boomerang.
Boomerang was amazing.
Damn.
Not as good as Pluto.
Yeah,
Now
it's not Traffic. I forgot what, but yeah, she definitely like she had shown her titties. And like this racist dude, like one of those dudes that would show up with his gun rack in the back of his like fucking Chevy. That dude, he said something about all black women are ugly, and I was like, "What about Halle Berry? She fine as fuck." And
Monsters Ball.
Yes, that's when the world let you know you had a little bit of hope. If Billy Bob Thornton could get with Halle Berry, the world's your cornucopia.
That ugly ass motherfucker,
yeah,
and he was racist as fuck.
Oh,
yeah.
But he's a wonderful actor. He's not racist himself.
No,
but he's such a good.
I feel like there's certain actors that are like, I'm not racist at all, but I do a really good job on camera.
You know who almost got me because he did such a good job, and I know he's not racist. Like by his accent, how he talks. Edward Norton.
Yes.
Right after American History X, I was like, that nigga plays the hateful bastard too well.
Edward Norton.
If you're ever watching that one scene when they're having the punk rock band scene, I'm the kid that has the Kentucky Fried Chicken in the back.
I'm the Ethan Sluppy character that's fat as fuck.
I was actually an understudy for him, but he ended up making it to all the
I was
shows.
at my biggest, I was probably as big as that dude was in that movie.
You know he's all jacked now?
Oh, yeah. The thing that he said is because he's talked on podcasts about this, is he had the skin removal surgery. Like, when you lose a bunch of weight, like, I have a little bit of it, like, to where it's, like, you can't do anything about it other than that. Like, your skin, if you lose it fast.
Yeah.
So he had, like, a foot of it by his stomach.
Wow, that's a lot.
So, like, he had been big for forever. Like, up until that point in his life, he had always been, like 400 pounds once he hit adulthood, or like around there. And so he had the surgery, and Kevin Smith, the guy that directed Mallrats and like all those movies, They're friends because he was in their movies back in the day. He was a guy that was looking at the magic eye posters and couldn't see it. And I brought a lunch, and I'm gonna see this thing, or I'm gonna die trying. He told Kevin Smith, "Don't get the skin removed." He said it was the most painful thing he's ever had done because it's all around your body. Like if you had seams and you were sewing
Yeah, that's a lot.
Ouchie, 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 ouchie.
That's like a tough recovery too.
Yeah, like because it's all, your entire body like has basically a slit around it where they sewed the skin back up.
I mean, we have a mutual friend that went through that, and it was absolutely like
drain
torturous.
tubes and shit.
Ahiga.
I forgot you get grossed out by.
You're like,
You know why I think so I don't like real gore like Faces of Death and shit like that. I'll watch it, but it's not something I'm gonna search out or like now like the videos they put on like online or like people getting their heads cut off. After you see one, you don't need to see anymore.
Yeah.
Where the fuck was I going with this?
Botched circumcision.
No, fuck you, fucked me up even worse. God damn.
Dun dun dun.
Where
Faces of Death.
Oh, before that.
Oh, the
shit you see on the internet.
Yeah, it's like the gore that you like.
Oh yeah. So, but I think it's because my mom, when cable started just having more channels, like random ones, they would have like things for like any like thing. They had the surgery channel, and like I came home one day and my mom was watching somebody get something done, like I think an arthroscopic like knee surgery, and she's just like watching this shit like it's normal, and I was like, ew,
bro. I'm totally.
And I would watch. I would read Fangoria like every time I like could, and like loved horror movies. But like once I saw somebody just getting like, because it's fucking.
That's why you need to watch The Substance.
Oh yeah, the first scene.
We're doing it. It's gonna happen. Sorry, we're gonna infiltrate your.
Make him watch Society
your
right
place.
after that.
I will bring you your choosing of food.
Tank. Just make me
I'll bring Popeyes.
Oh, dude, like
because there's a part in the movie where she's eating chicken and lots of it. So I'll bring Popeyes.
So you know what happened last night at open mic, which I host every Monday night at the Catamount Lounge. There were 4 youngsters. There was a young gentleman named Lennon that was gonna play, and he was looked like 16. He was like a young dude. He was definitely
bitch ass motherfucker.
So this guy,
I have it in for this kid.
He's the last person on the list, so he's got to wait.
He's a little bitch.
And I go back to the back because I walk like once a person hits like the midway through their first song, I'll be like, yeah, let me walk around a little bit. So I walk and then I get back and I smell. I can't help it. I smelled fried chicken, and like I was like, they don't make fried chicken here. What the fuck is going on? And these little niggas got motherfucking like
they snuck
it in too. That's the first thing I asked. I was like, how did you get this past me and me not notice this? I didn't even smell it.
They snuck it in the back door. I
knew they had snuck it through the back door. Like, 'cause I knew they didn't walk past my black ass and me not be like, you got Popeyes? What are you doing?
Yeah, and
that's the white bag with the orange letters.
So I had to go back there and be like, hey, listen, guys, I'm going to let it slide this time, but this is not a picnic area. This is a restaurant. You need to purchase food from here should you want to eat. And they were like, okay, we're sorry, blah, blah, blah. And
I almost took some of their chicken. Like, just walked up and took a fucking chicken.
But I was pretty mean about it. I was pretty stern about it.
You should have been, man.
Yeah, you should have.
But then the irony is that, like, 45 minutes later, I ordered Domino's. And
yeah, but you're working.
So that's it. And I did. So when Domino's got there, Shannon's like, "Oh my God, Chris, Domino's here. Get it in here quick and put it in the back so nobody sees." Because you made a big. Because I also roasted them during my set. I was like, I called them gay. I was like, yeah, you guys did that old cut the hole in the bottom of the popcorn chicken trick and stuck your little pecker in there. Your friend's like, oh, hey, this one's smooth. Like it was.
I mean, who does that?
Yeah, so
who brings food to a restaurant?
Yeah, ask. They were maybe 15, 16, and they cheered their. I'll give this. The dude they came to support their homie. He brought a team. They did well. They didn't spend a fucking cent, and the guy, or actually his big brother spent a little bit of money, but didn't tip zero.
Oh,
he tipped 0.00. That motherfucker.
He's young whites.
Yeah, they're young.
But also he was wearing. He had the flat brim. He was one of those guys with the flat brim cap. And the mesh back, and then he had for no reason, he had the sunglasses on.
Oh yeah,
the top, but they're upside down, which is an indicator. So I've had this thing about it where I feel that's a way of like guys of questionable sexuality to let each other know what their kinks are.
I'll
So
walk on it.
So if you have a flat brim hat forward with the mesh back with the upside down thing, that means like you're into no look over the pants hand jobs. Like the freaks are the guys who wear like the visor, and like the less functional, the better. The less functional, the more freakish you are. So the guy that's wearing like the visor backwards with like the upside down sunglasses backwards, or like
I've thought about
whatever,
this as well.
That's the dude who's like power bottom motherfucker.
Yeah.
USA.
Not even that, dude. Like I thought about this. The brim gets in the way of fucking deep throating your fucking thick boys. So you got to turn your hat to the back.
I'm okay with that. I'd pay that. Like I'd pay $1 to watch that. I'm just saying. So
Yeah, all right.
no
I'd
hate
buy,
over
I'd
here.
buy that for $1.
Yep. No hate over here. But why the fuck would you bring food to a restaurant?
These kids, like, they probably looked at the menu and they were like, man, this is like,
It was a bunch of boys.
if you eat this, you're gonna turn gay. Never mind the sword fighting we did 15 minutes before we got here.
But definitely. So I walked back to the back and I sat down, and that kid Landon, I didn't notice him at first, or Lennon, whatever his name was.
Justin Bieber looking motherfucker.
I noticed that he was in the back corner trying to like talk on his phone, and it was his dad calling him because it slowly got louder, and he was like, "The car's supposed to be home." Like and shit like that. So like he's arguing, and his friends are coming back there telling him like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Go away, go away." So,
it's like, you don't want to hear this.
And then fucking finally, like he gets off the phone, and his parents say he can play one song, and he's got to wait for Joe and one other person to get done, or Joe to get done.
You could play one song, son, then you get home and you pray to Jesus,
and it was
for the sins you've committed.
And then I heard the moment where
Cujo.
I got the moment where he definitely was getting bad advice from those fucking tight-shorted friends, where they were like, "Just play all your songs, bro. What are they gonna do?" And I was like, I almost was like, "Don't listen to them."
Yeah,
like these guys are
rules are rules.
These are the same guys that talk you into making out, dude. Don't listen.
Yeah.
But he was actually good. It was surprising. He was literally shit. I guess it's because all country music sounds the same to me, and he didn't mess up its chords. He sounded good to me.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just being mean because he did that shit. So
You're like, I'm gonna just like.
Oh, I was heckling him. I was like, "Hey, is that fucking Justin Bieber up there?" I was like,
"You were that guy."
Yeah, I was heckling the shit out of him.
Oh my god!
And he's trying to get his sound.
Was that the first time he's at like?
Yeah.
See, he probably he was like, "I'm gonna do this."
I explained it to him and his friends. I explained to him and his friends.
I got the courage to do this, and your ass is fucking heckling.
You know what? I explained to him, to his friends, they were gonna pay a penance for the sins they had committed by bringing the Popeyes into the establishment.
All right, so let me ask a question. Had they offered you?
They didn't even offer my fat ass
but
Popeyes chicken,
if
which
they
could have
had
that.
you,
Then you know what? I would
have.
Like, I would have been
just
like,
an
"Yo,
olive branch. Here's a piece of chicken."
I would have been like, "You know what? These kids are great. They remind me of his kid. You know what? With more promise."
And they also didn't
They
tip.
never did.
Yeah, they also didn't tip either. So there was zero. They brought zero to the plate, except for a place for their friend to be self-congratulatory.
I thought this was the funniest thing I thought about it. He had a pit crew while he was playing, so he was looking on his phone, and there was a dude that just kept walking up to his phone and scrolling up for him. Like
it was amazing.
Every like 15 seconds.
He also had to use a phone, which was kind of whack. But I'm just sorry, I'm still picking on him.
He's a hater.
You know what? They were young, right?
Yeah,
like experience teaches you shit. Like,
well, next time I come in, I'm gonna have to explain to them that like, tipping is big dick energy, guys.
Don't be that guy.
If you guys want to end up,
dudes really like not tip? Like, have you come
so
in?
Fucking weird. Not me. I'm a good tipper.
No. Have you ever had like a boyfriend or like anybody that like is like anti? Because I've had friends that I know like when we were younger be like, "I don't tip," and I'll be like, "What?"
I've dated dudes that don't tip, and it's embarrassing. Like, I'm like,
you like leave money behind, like,
no,
have you ever done it?
Because they're like, "I'm gonna pay," and then like I see what they're doing, and I'm like, "What the." I don't want to be associated with this guy.
There are two reasons to be a shitty tipper, okay? And that is number one, or why people are shitty tippers, okay? And this is the only explanations, is that number one, they're either senile and they don't know any better because their brain does not work anymore, or you are cheap. Those are the two fucking reasons.
Yeah, I don't get it.
You can dress it up. You can dress it up, and I'm sorry, but here a negative stereotype about a certain group of people is that they don't tip well. And then they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I don't tip," and you're like,
Nah, 100%. Like,
Yeah.
Don't go out if you're
Yeah.
not gonna tip.
Well,
dude.
that's
Yeah.
and people don't look at it like they don't
go to
realize,
McDonald's.
they don't realize that like what we do is like it's contingent. Yes, we get very fortunately, Shannon is a communist and fucking pays us extremely well. And it's like for an hourly rate at a restaurant, you won't see that anywhere, right? Like unless you're in a city where it's a mandate. And so fortunately we have that, but we do subsist on tips. Like that's where the majority of our income comes from. And I'm not sitting here, hey, look, man, I flirt my ass off for tips as aforementioned in the show. And I fucking, with men and women alike, by the way, I did get offered a blowjob. I did mention that by a man, and a lavender man at that. And it was the people that come in and think it's funny or like they think it's like novelties. We have these group of like fucking dudes. At karaoke night, I think George was there for it. These group of bros came in and they ordered up like a bunch of smoking jackets, which are extremely intricate drink to make.
Yeah.
And they got like 6 of them, and altogether 6 is about $85 worth of drinks. So these dudes come up, they order 2 rounds of them. It was $170. They tipped $3 on it.
What?
They tipped $3, and they were all like, and they were joking about it in the back. And I was like, so I got on the microphone to sing my song, and I was like, yo, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Tip your bartenders. That's how we make our living. And if you think it's funny not to tip, fuck you and the horse you rode in on. Shannon was like, I was like, I'm sorry, girl. I got to get mine.
Yeah.
I was like, I got to get mine.
Cool.
And I was like, I definitely had more people with me than them. Fuck them. They were definitely very Christendom. Here it is. I don't even like. It has nothing to do because I've been to Catholic school myself. At no point in time when I was in Catholic school did they tell you that tipping was evil. It was like involved with any sort of like. So I don't know what the fuck is going on. I can't say that at the Christendom college, because of their Catholic outlook, is that why they're shitty tippers. But the kids that go to the Christendom, I'm calling you out. If you're watching from Christendom, I know you're not because you'd probably explode into flames being on that campus, like watching the show. Is that
probably because they pay too much to go to that shitty fucking school.
They think it's hilarious not to tip.
What?
Yeah, we had this group, and like we got this group, and so there's Jay Work. This is a great Jay Work story. So this is back when Jay and Alicia were together, and Alicia was a server. Yeah, we're buzzing.
We're buzzing a little bit.
No, we're not. We're good now.
Okay.
When you touch that, yes, that's when we buzz. Yeah, when you do that, that's buzzing.
What are you doing?
Now
we're absolutely
right,
okay.
Right there,
Wait, no,
okay.
it might be what you're stepping on. Technical difficulty. No. Okay.
Jay Work story. So there's this kid. His name is Noah, and he lives in town. And I should probably not have said that, but whatever. So just penance for his shitty tipping, and nice enough guy though. And so Jay is when Alicia worked at Vinova, he would come in and he runs you pretty dry, and then leaves like slim to nil. Sometimes some, sometimes none. And so Jay knew about it, and Jay, being Jay, is Jay. And we're driving out of the neighborhood through Christendom, and we see this motherfucker in the middle of the street, and he looks up, and Jay's like, hey, Alicia, is that kid Noah? And she's like, yeah. And so he rolls down the window in front of like a group of 10 of his homies. He's like, hey, Noah. Hey, is that you, man? You hang out at Vinova, right? And he's like, yeah, dude, what's up? And Jay's like, yeah, man. Why don't you ever fucking tip, man? What the fuck's wrong with you? And like, he's like,
I love Jay. That's awesome.
Man, he did that in front of a group of 10 of his homies, man. It was fucking crazy.
Yeah, Jay will definitely tell you.
I love
he's in town. He's in town actually.
I didn't know.
Yeah, he had a post about it, dude. What are you talking about? Don't you pay attention to Facebook? Jesus.
I didn't know he was in town either, but also I was working up until the point I got here.
He's here from Maine doing his thing. But yeah, I think I'm actually supposed to have breakfast with him tomorrow, so shout out Jay Work, the motherfucking Maine.
Yeah, I remember one time in front of your Vinova, Brian Morton was in the middle of his post-divorce whiling, and pulled up the wrong way in front of Vinova. And Jay walked out there and was like, "This is why you're going to get arrested. Like, go home."
Oh man.
It was great.
All right.
All right. Chris, what do you have coming up?
I mean, I'm tentatively gonna be. I will either be at Skyline tomorrow or at Hog Shack. I was thinking about Hog Shack because then I can hit up Transit. However, there's a lot of transit involved with going to those spots, so I will debate tomorrow. See how I'm doing tomorrow. However, I did do some. I did Alpha Brain for like the past 3 days.
Yeah, it works.
Oh man, that shit's got me back on. I didn't take a nap today. I was fucking like, I literally. You know what I did? You want to hear some funny shit? This is what I did. This is what's going on with me, and then I'll get off. I took every single piece of my clothing out of its storage. I rehung it, I refolded it, I put it all back in, and like I took my t-shirts and I hang up in my closet, and I arranged them by brands, and then I put all my sweatshirts by color, and then all my shoes back in their boxes, and then back into stacks in my closet. Is what I did all day today.
Yep.
And yeah, tomorrow I will conquer the game room, and
Smoke
then
a joint.
do some comedy. And then go see drum and bass, and then come home and eat something, and then go to bed.
I'll get them like I think Fireballs are like $3.
Mm.
I don't drink that shit. And PBRs are like $2.
I always like the fact that the Ultra Bean had Guinness and it was cold as fuck.
Yes.
I don't even fuck as long as they got unsweetened iced tea.
Yeah, they probably will have that too.
That's what's
They have a lot of stuff. I can't wait. I haven't been there in a while, and I have a few friends that I haven't seen in a while, so it'll be nice. So, and I get to dance.
Yeah.
Excited.
Oh yeah. One thing I do want to plug before we get off. Helltown Entertainment and the Catamount Lounge presents March 29th the incredible Isaac Ignacio and his crew will be coming through to do a show for all of you, free of charge. We will be setting up an Eventbrite with tickets for preferred seating.
You're gonna pack fast.
Yeah, we will pack very fast. It's gonna be a great one. Isaac is a fantastic performer. I can't wait. So Tina's gonna be hosting. So shout out to my girl Songbird. And we are gonna be getting our thing on the flow. So that's it. Now I'm done. Bye. Look, I'm gonna take this off to let you know I'm serious.
Lita,
just kidding.
Hi. So there's a wine and craft festival coming up. It is May 17th. You should come up, hit me up, buy my stuff, because I'm a starving artist and I need your money in order to enjoy all these things that my friends are doing. Yeah, come buy my stuff. May 17th. It's gonna be beautiful. It's not gonna be rainy. Like I'm willing that it's gonna be beautiful weather this year. So come and buy my weird shit. Also, you can hit me up on Instagram. Well, that is odd_, or my like regular like handles on Facebook, where I post a lot of political shit and I don't give a fuck what you think about it. And I also post funny memes too. So hit me up. Okay, that's it.
You can go over to at Helltown Radio on all the socials and follow the show. Subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on Spotify, do all that stuff. Go over to Capital MMA, 9 local locations. You can get trained. I'm thinking about I'm thinking about setting up a woman's only self-defense thing in Front Royal for free. No, fucking no. It's not. It's not gonna be like an Usher show. I'm not gonna be like standing on a goddamn stage and be like, "This is how you hip toss."
Like, no, I want you to trample my balls. Right?
No.
When I say lavender, that means stop.
It'll be like I'm in the preliminary stages. There's been some talk. A lot of people have expressed interest in it. But my daughter, the state champion of Virginia wrestling, will also be there. So you will see her beat me up profusely. So if you want to see comedy as well, because it'll probably be a lot of me getting tossed. Because when you do self-defense, especially, like most of the people don't know how to do break falls or any of the movements you need to do when somebody tosses you to not get hurt. So there's no way I'm going to let people just like toss anybody else. So it'll be a lot of me like falling down and getting up for about an hour. And If people like hip tossing me wrong. All
You gotta
right.
teach the shirt choke thing.
Oh yeah.
That shit's awesome. It's like,
Oh well, you can do it to me. Here, I'll teach it right on camera right now.
no, well, we're not gonna do that.
No, just reach in. So take your hand flat like this.
I know how it's like this, like
all the way up in the back of the collar, right? Now you reach under your own hand the same way, all the way to the back of the collar, all the way to the back. Boom. Now pull your elbows apart and pull them like you're trying to no. So that'll get a tap, but it'll be the trachea. It's not gonna be the blood choke. Take your elbows and try to pull them around your torso.
that's not the one I'm talking about. The one
The loop choke.
Lita, I feel dizzy.
She literally like the guy's on top of her, and she does this thing with his shirt, pulls the shirt off of him, and just like
So it's the same movement as that. It's just you're taking the shirt. So you take your hand in the back of their shirt behind their shoulders and you curl it forward. It's the same choking mechanism. Yeah. The finish is exactly the same.
But she just literally pulls the shirt off the dude.
So
and it's like now you're gonna die.
And jiu-jitsu is called an Ezekiel choke. So like you can do it with actually like a staff. You can like pull it behind somebody's head and do the same thing. So it's a functional movement if you have a weapon or not. Like you'd have like a sword and still do it.
Huh.
There's a level of arousal in the room, sir.
Dun, 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 dun. But yeah, go get trained. Congratulations, Lily. You did it. You're the state champion, and you're going to the NCAA. Get an NIL deal, like sponsors.
NIL deal.
Let's do big things. It is your week. You should suplex it. Remember, the greasy finger goes in the pee hole. The ashy one goes in your butthole. The one with hot sauce goes in your vagina. That's a recipe for destruction.
Bye-bye.